A 7-year-old in a baggy janitor suit just marched past security, rode the executive elevator to floor 47 and is now standing mop in hand in front of the most feared CEO on Wall Street. She is here because her mother is in the OR and missing even one shift could cost them everything. What the billionaire decides in the next 60 seconds will change 3 lives forever. Chapter 1: Unexpected Visitor in the Executive Suite. Friday, 7:42 a.m. Madison Square Corporate Tower, Midtown Manhattan. Thomas Gray believed in precision. Every morning unfolded like clockwork. Black car at 6:05. Elevator door sliding open at 7:26. First double espresso at exactly 7:30. Then spreadsheets, strategy memos, and a firewall of carefully scheduled meetings. Peaceful, predictable, efficient. But at 7:42 the gears jammed. A soft knock, 3 beats, then the door to his private office creaked inward. Thomas didn't look up. His assistant knew better than to break the silent hour. Instead, he kept scanning quarterly forecasts until a small, unmistakably child-sized shadow stretched across the mahogany desk. "Excuse me, sir." The voice was high, clear, and trembling with a politeness Thomas hadn't heard since the word please fell out of fashion. He lifted his eyes and froze. Standing on the flawless marble threshold was a little girl, no taller than the arm of his leather chair. A forest green jumpsuit, clearly an adult's janitorial uniform, hung off her shoulders like a costume. The sleeves were rolled past her elbows, pant legs bunched at her ankles, and a bright pink shoelace cinched the waist twice. In one gloved hand she gripped a spray bottle. In the other, a yellow microfiber cloth folded into a neat square. Freckles dashed over the bridge of her nose, and honey-brown curls peeked from under a Madison Square baseball cap far too large for her head. Her hazel eyes shone with something Thomas hadn't seen in years: earnest determination unclouded by cynicism. "My name is Lily," she announced, drawing in a breath as though reciting lines rehearsed on the bus ride over. "I am 7 3/4, and today I am here to do mommy's work so she doesn't get fired. She is sick." The last 2 words wobbled, as if she de-glued bravery over fear and the edges were starting to peel. Thomas set his fountain pen down, its click echoing in the vaulted room. "Sick," he repeated. By time security was stationed downstairs, her badges unlocked every control door. How had a child breached 4 layers of corporate armor? Lily nodded. "Mommy, her real name is Caroline Brooks Olden." Breathed this morning. She whispered that if she misses one more shift, Mr. Preston will replace her. So the girl inhaled, puffing her chest. "I came instead." The sentence landed on Thomas like a stone thrown into a still pond, ripples spreading across years of self-constructed detachment. He rose slowly. Kids could be unpredictable, best not to loom. He came around the desk and crouched to her height. "Lily, is your mom at the hospital right now?" She wiggled a toe inside a scuffed sneaker. "Yes, the neighbor called an ambulance." She separated the syllables carefully. "And I rode them in 5 bus. Mommy showed me how in case of emergencies." "Alone?" Her eyes darted sideways, ashamed, but she nodded. "I had $4 in quarters. The driver said I was brave." Thomas exhaled through his nose. "Brave won't the half of it." His board of directors wouldn't cross Midtown without a town car and Wi-Fi. Somewhere on a different floor a copier jam whined, and the building hummed. But inside Thomas Gray's office time went hush quiet. He noticed Lily's gloved knuckles whitening around the spray bottle. No child should grip responsibility that hard. He straightened, tapped his wristwatch twice, his silent signal for his assistant to enter. Nothing, of course. The silent hour. He crossed to the phone and pressed the intercom. "Marla, cancel my 8 o'clock. Marla's voice crackled, confused. "The quarterly with Singapore?" "Everything," he stated. "Reschedule or delegate." A beat of stunned silence, then, "Yes, Mr. Gray." He hung up and faced Lily. "First things first. Have you eaten breakfast?" Her shoulders lifted halfway, then fell. "Mommy had oatmeal on the stove." But the ambulance came fast. "Let us fix that," Thomas said. He opened a hidden paneled fridge behind a sliding bookcase usually stocked with oat milk and non-dairy yogurt no one touched. Today it held a single apple juice box left over from last month's family day. He prayed it wouldn't expired, checked the date, and offered it to her. Lily brightened. "Thank you." She punctured the foil with the straw and gulped. Eyes closing in relief, a faint whistle escaped the straw. Childish, unfiltered happiness, and Thomas's chest tightened. He motioned to a leather settee beneath panoramic windows. She climbed up, feet dangling, sipping juice like a queen in a throne of chrome and glass. He allowed her a minute, then asked gently, "Do you know your mom's doctor's name?" "I'd like to check she is okay." "I'm Dr. Patel, at St. Vincent's." Mommy said if anything happened, I should tell a grown-up to ask for Dr. Patel. Thomas typed a quick note on his phone to Marla: "Find Caroline Brooks at St. Vincent's, send flowers in my card." While he texted, Lily's gaze wandered the room, lingering on the framed Forbes cover of Thomas at 39's. Titled Ice King of Wall Street. She squinted. "Are you the boss of all the bosses?" "Just this building," he answered. Honest, but easier than explaining holding companies and majority shares. "My mommy says bosses decide if people get to keep their dreams." He crawled up his neck, out of the mouths of children. Before he could reply, Lily slid off the couch, set her juice on a coaster manners and unfolded her cloth. May I start cleaning your desk, Mr. Boss? He almost laughed. You don't have to, Lil. I promised Mommy. Her chin jutted at a stubborn angle that brokered no compromise. He surrendered, gesturing toward his massive workstation. All right, but let me move a few things first. She waited, cloth poised in tiny hands as he stacked reports and lifted his Mont Blanc pen set. Lily began wiping in slow, deliberate circles, just as her mother must have taught her. The cloth lacked spray dust remained, yet she worked with reverence, humming off key. Thomas found himself rooted, mesmerized by the fragility of the scene, the world's youngest janitor polishing a surface worth more than her annual household income. A knot formed behind his sternum. He cleared his throat. You're very thorough. Mommy says do it right, even if nobody sees. Words like those form spine strong enough to hold up skyscrapers. He thought, and sometimes entire families. When Lily reached for a framed photo of Thomas and his late mother, the cuff of her uniform snagged a glass paperweight. It teetered. A heartbeat later, gravity won. The weight smashed into a Waterford crystal cup, which shattered in a sharp, crystalline cry. Lilia's cloth slipped. Her gloved hands flew to her mouth. I am sorry. Please don't fire Mommy. Thomas hurried forward, shards crunching under Italian leather. No one is getting fired. He knelt, retrieved the fragments with the same care he applied to billion-dollar contracts, and dropped them into a wastebasket. Lilia's eyes brimmed like overfilled tops. It was just glass, he assured. Are you hurt? She shook her head but looked unconvinced. Thomas lifted an unbroken shard, catching flecks of dawn light. See this? Pretty but brittle. People are worth more than things. He placed the shard in her palm so she could feel its smooth edge before he guided it back into the bin. Accidents don't decide, futures choices do. Her lips steadied. She nodded fiercely as if taking an oath. Why don't we finish breakfast? He suggested. I know a cafe downstairs. They make pancakes shaped like bears. Lilia's eyes widened. Mama bears or baby bears? Both. Entire families actually, he deadpanned. She giggled, a sound so airy it lifted the altitude of the whole room. Thomas texted security, escort VIP child and meet a level 2 cafe. No questions. They rode the executive elevator together. Lily clutched the spray bottle like a scepter. Thomas punched the button marked with a gold 2. When the doors parted, employees parted with them staring. No one asked. Thomas Gray never explained himself. At the cafe, Chef Marco, whose mustache was as famous as his truffle fries, blinked twice when Thomas ordered bear pancakes. Extra syrup. He delivered them 6 minutes later, 3 golden bears reclining on a sugary snowdrift. Lilia's gaze sparkled. They sat in a quiet corner. Lily cut careful triangles while Thomas sipped a single Corrigan pour cover. Eventually she said, around a mouthful of bear ear, Mr. Boss, do you have kids? He considered lying. The truth scraped old wounds. No. Why not? I never made time, he answered. That, at least, was simpler than admitting he'd once been engaged, lost the woman he loved to chemo, and buried the hope of parenthood next to her. Lily stabbed a syrup pool thoughtfully. Sometimes grown-ups forget what time is for. He blinked at the wisdom packaged in a first grader-esque cadence. And what is time for? Building forts, reading stories, hugging before the school bus comes so the hug lasts all day. She licked syrup off her fork. Mommy says hugs are like rechargeable batteries. You need one in the morning so you don't run out. Thomas's throat tightened. Lily returned to her pancakes, humming again. By 8:35 she'd finished every crumb. Maple streaked her cheek. Thomas offered a napkin. She wiped dutifully, then hopped down. Now the bathroom's on 47. He laughed outright. You plan to clean those too? I have a schedule, she insisted, retrieving a folded, rayon-drawn map from her pocket. Colored arrows snaked through floors with little stick figure icons, trash, toilets, mirrors. The network rivals his own logistics charts minus the pastel hearts. One heart circled the word break at 10:30, followed by call Mommy. Thomas crouched. What if we visit your mom first? Make sure she is okay. Then see about bathrooms. Hope flickered in her eyes, battling duty. But Mr. Preston, I'll handle him. She weighed the offer like an executive measuring Roy. Finally she nodded. Okay, but we still have to sweep the lobby. Mrs. Rogers drops crumbs. The specificity charmed him. Lobby crumbs noted. He dialed Marla, have the car ready. Also request Mr. Preston in my office at 11. Everything all right, sir? Marla asked, coded concern laced into vowels. Everything is in progress, he replied, glancing at Lily. 9:12 a.m. St. Vincent's Medical Center. Hospital smelled of antiseptic and whispered dread. Thomas avoided them since his fiancée's last day. Yet as he pushed through sliding doors with Lily at his side, dread took a backseat to purpose. At the reception desk, he flashed his platinum badge. We were here for Caroline Brooks. Under Dr. Patel. The nurse checked a monitor. Room 514, respiratory ward. Her tone softened when she saw Lily in uniform. Elevators to your left. They found Caroline seated upright, oxygen cannula in place, color drained but eyes alert. She looked simultaneously startled and relieved to see Lily, emotion rushing across her face like weather over water. "Mommy." Lily darted forward. Caroline gathered her daughter gently, wincing. "Honey, you shouldn't be." She noticed Thomas and paused. Recognition dawned in wide, fearful eyes. "Mr. Gray?" He raised a hand. "It's all right, Ms. Brooks. Lily came to fulfill your shift. She takes promises seriously." Caroline looked mortified. "I am so sorry." A cough cut through her apology. Thomas shook his head. "No apologies. Focus on breathing." Dr. Patel entered, reviewed charts, and assured them Caroline had pneumonia but responded to antibiotics. Discharge in 3 days if no complications. Lily listened like a miniature scientist, nodding solemnly. When the doctor left, Caroline whispered, "Did you miss work, baby?" Lily's shoulders wilted. "I tried to clean but I broke a glass." Thomas interjected, "She saved the quarter from rolling under the desk." Those superior reflexes, he winked. Caroline's tense mouth eased into a small smile. She brushed curls from Lily's forehead. "You're my warrior." Lily beamed, then looked at Thomas. "Can I tell Mommy about the pancakes?" "Beer-shaped," he clarified before Lily launched into a syrup-sweet saga. As mother and daughter chatted, Thomas studied Caroline, mid-30s, hair pulled into a utilitarian bun. Resilience etched in the set of her jaw. Her gaze flicked to him now and then, wary but grateful. At length she asked, "Mr. Gray, I understand if Madison Square can keep me after this absence. I'll sign whatever forms." "Your job is safe," he interrupted, tone brooking no debate. "Moreover, we're restructuring janitorial scheduling, sick day flexibility, cross-training for higher pay." It wasn't a lie. He'd already sent the email to her. Caroline's hand flew to her chest. "I don't know what to say." "Just get well," Thomas said, surprised at the softness in his voice. Lily patted her mother's arm. "See, told you good things happen if you brave." Caroline's eyes glistened. "Yes, love, you were braver than I ever imagined." Thomas cleared his throat. "We should let your mom rest, Lily. Would you like to come back to the office or stay here?" She bit her lip. "I want to stay, but Mommy needs rest more than company." And we still haven't swept the lobby crumbs. Caroline managed to laugh. "Duty calls." Thomas bent to Lily's level. "We'll finish your checklist, then revisit this afternoon." Lily saluted with the cloth. As they exited, Caroline called softly, "Mr. Gray?" He paused in the doorway. "Thank you for seeing her, not just the uniform." He offered a half smile. Sometimes the smallest messengers carry the largest truths. Their eyes held a moment. Something unspoken respect, a budding understanding bridged the distance. 10:48 a.m. Madison Square lobby. Lily pushed a dust mop across polished granite like a sailor steering a schooner. Thomas walked beside her, briefcase abandoned upstairs. Employees slowed to watch the duo, the titan of mergers escorting a pint-sized custodian. Whisper campaigns began but none dared ask. "Crumbs, 12 o'clock, Lily announced, spotting a line of muffin debris near reception. She swept them deftly. Thomas followed with a handheld vase summoned by housekeeping staff. Mid-sweep, Lily peered up. "Mr. Preston is coming." Thomas turned. Harold Preston, facilities manager, strode over, tie crooked, face blotchy with panic. "Sir," her called, "there's been a misunderstanding." Thomas cut him off. "Harold, meet Lily Brooks. She is filling in for her mother while Ms. Brooks recovers in hospital." Harold's jaw slackened. "Sir, we can have minors. That policy adjusts as of 10:50 a.m. Child labor laws remain intact. She is a guest on educational observation." Thomas's gaze was icy. "You'll process Caroline Brooks' sick leave is paid." Harold swallowed. "Of course. And arrange a supervised facility tour for Lily. Safety goggles, mini hard hat, the works." Lily squealed. "My own hard hat?" "Think if available," Thomas added. Harold nodded violently. "Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir." He retreated. Lily resumed sweeping, humming louder. Thomas checked his watch. 15 minutes until Mr. Preston is scheduled. Scolding in his office now unnecessary. He cancelled it, marking the slot family time. 11:30 a.m. Executive Suite, floor 47. Thomas guided Lily back to his office. Sunlight poured over the desk, illuminating the clutch-wiped swirls Lily had left, ghosts of her earnest labor. He retrieved 2 tablets from a drawer. "Want to see something cool?" She bounced on her toes. "Yes." He opened a CAD model of the building as if a system, ducts, glowing blue veins across floors. "Your mom ensures these vents stay dust-free so people breathe better." He handed her the second tablet loaded with an interactive game guide, airflow past obstacles by cleaning them. Lily gasped. "Mommy's job is inside a video game?" In a way. She navigated the level, swiping dirt away. Each cleared vent played a chime. Thomas watched her concentration, an engineer's nascent focus blooming. Minutes later she looked up. Do you make games? Not yet, he said, surprised by his own answer. Lily placed the tablet down solemnly. You should. People remember fun more than numbers. Mommy says so. He filed that away. A soft ping. Marla emailed. Sir, board wants confirmation about noon investor call. He typed back, postpone 1 hour. For the first time in a decade, he chose a childish curiosity over market expectations. The decision felt terrifying and spectacularly right. 1:02 p.m. Rooftop garden, Madison Square Tower. Lunch arrived in picnic baskets. Lilia's eyes widened at the hidden garden, Japanese maples, koi pond, skyline backdrops. She bit into a turkey sandwich while seagulls wheeled above. Between bites she asked, why is the garden secret? Thomas shrugged. Executives use it for quiet calls. That is sad. Gardens are for sharing, she pronounced. Then her smile turned sly. We could invite the other janitors for lunch one day. He chuckled. That would rattle a few suits. Rattle is good. Makes people wake up. Her words rolled in his head like marbles. Wake up. A buzz came from his phone. Urgent call, board chairman. He ignored it. Sunlight warmed his face. Lily told stories about her hamster, Mr. Pickles, who ran away but came back because the world was too big. Thomas listened, really listened. When Lily finished, she leaned back on the grass. Mommy says when you lie on the ground and look at clouds, problems look smaller. He lay beside her, bespoke soup be damned. A cloud shaped like a question mark drifted overhead. He exhaled. You might be right. Lily turned. Will Mommy lose her job for real? No, he said, not while I am in charge. She grinned, an entire sunrise packed into a smile. Then I guess you're a good boss. The compliment landed deeper than any Forbes accolade. For the first time since Forbes labeled him the Ice King, Thomas Gray felt thawed. 3:15 p.m. St. Vincent's Medical Center. They returned to find Caroline sitting up, color returning. Lily launched into a full debrief. Bare pancakes, pink hard hats, rooftop gardens. Caroline laughed until tears formed. Thomas waited in the doorway, unsure if his presence complicated things. But Caroline beckoned him closer. Lily says you skip meetings for her. He downplayed. Meetings can be rescheduled, moments can tea. Carolina's eyes pooled. Most people don't TCS. We empty trash at night. We disappear by morning. She paused. You saw my daughter. Thomas met her gaze. She refused invisibility. Lily rummaged in her backpack, produced a crumpled paper, her schedule map. She pointed to a heart drawn at 4:00 p.m. Family hug. It is almost time. Caroline laughed. A hug it is. She hugged Lily, then, surprising herself, extended a hand to Thomas. He took it. The clock read 3:59 when Lily squeaked, 1 minute. Caroline rolled her eyes playfully and tugged Thomas into a triangular embrace. At 4:00 exactly, Lily announced, hug battery full. Thomas's chest tightened in a way spreadsheets could never explain. 5:47 p.m. Thomas's penthouse, Upper East Side. Alone again, he stood by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. The day replayed like a film. Lily's certainty, Caroline's quiet strength, the warmth of a timed hug. He unlipped his tie, set it on the counter, and opened an email draft. To executive team. Subject: new priorities. Effective immediately, Madison Square Corporation will launch an employee family support program including paid sick leave pools, on-site childcare scholarships, and cross-training apprenticeships. He typed until the city lit up like circuitry. Before hitting send, he added a footnote: all great empires stand only as tall as the dignity of those who maintain their foundations. He pressed send. Then he opened a new message. To Caroline Brooks. Subject: Lilia's schedule map. Please find attached a scanned copy of Lilia's map. I plan to frame the original in my office. With her permission. It reminded me what leadership should look like. He hesitated, added, rest well. The building and your job will be here when you're ready. Thank you for loaning me your little hero today. Send. Outside, headlights traced silver ribbons through the park, somewhere across town. Lily probably reminded nurses to recharge their hug batteries. Caroline might be drifting to sleep. If drip ticking fears temporarily quiet. Thomas loosened his cufflinks, felt the lingering grip of Lilia's fearless handshake. A 7-year-old had walked into his fortress and redrawn the blueprints of his life. And it was only day one. He leaned his forehead against cool glass and whispered to the night skyline. Tomorrow we build different. Chapter 2: Letters from a Hospital Bed. Saturday, 6:11 a.m. St. Vincent's Medical Center Respiratory Ward. The ward was half light, half silent, the kind of hush that settles before dawn when monitors beep like distant metronomes and nurses walk soft-footed so dreams can keep breathing. Caroline Brooks lay propped on 3 pillows, a drip ticking beside her. Pneumonia clamped her ribs each time she inhaled, yet her thoughts moved faster than any pulse ox alarm. She couldn't sweep floors, couldn't clock in, couldn't make Lilius oatmeal. The stillness felt like failure, so she reached for something she could do right. A volunteer cart rumbled past, stocked with paper and stubby golf pencils. Caroline asked the young handy-striped girl for 2 notebooks and a pen that worked when angled sideways. She opened the first page, ruled, pale blue, and dated it in careful print. Letter 1 to my little warrior. My dearest Lily, you are still asleep in the chair beside me, tiny shoe prints tucked under Grandma's quilt. Your lashes flutter like hummingbird wings, dreaming brave dreams, no doubt. Yesterday you rode a bus alone, knocked on a CEO's door, and changed the course of our lives. When you were born, the nurse handed me 7 pounds of possibility and said, "She is strong." I didn't know just how strong until I watched you march across polished marble, mop swinging like a knight a sword. Sweetheart, I promise I will get better. I promise there will be more bedtime stories. More cardboard castles, more Saturday pancakes shaped like stars, though now I hear there are bear pancakes downtown. While I am healing, remember 3 things. 1. Bravery isn't loud. Sometimes it is the quiet voice that says, try again tomorrow. 2. Mistakes are proof you're moving. Glass breaks, hearts ache, but dreams bend before they shatter. 3. Love, real love, always shows up, even in skyscrapers. Sleep a little longer, my explorer. The world can wait for daylight. Love bigger than the sky. Mommy. A cough racked her chest. She paused, breathing through the burn. When vision steadied, she slid the notebook under her pillow. Nurse Dana appeared to check vitals. Dana was mid-50s, silver streaks in her bun, gentle like warm tea. She smiled. That pen smoking yet? Only the first letter, Caroline whispered. Good. Words heal places medicine can reach. Dana adjusted her nasal annula and winked. Dr. S rounds in an hour. Rest those lungs. But rest slithered away the moment Dana left. Rent was due in 5 days. Utilities were 2 weeks late. The overtime shift she'd picked up for Sunday would now go unpaid. Panic scratched at the edges of her composure. She opened the second notebook. Letter 2 unsent to the man in the corner office. Mr. Thomas Gray, you probably don't drink 2 vending matchin' coffee or worry about cab fare when the 8 train stalls. Yet yesterday you canceled power lunches and investor calls to rescue a janitor's daughter from a glass storm she unintentionally created. You barely know me, but you saw my child. For that, thank you feels too small. There is dignity in cleaning. My mother used to say, leave every room kinder than you found it. That's why I try to do erase smudges so strangers can see their own reflections clearly. Still, I never expected anyone important to notice. If generosity were measured like stock value, you'd be one of the wealthiest men alive. Please keep your word about my job. It is not just employment, it is the rope bridge between my daughter's tomorrow and my yesterday. Sincerely, Caroline Brooks. She stared at the page. Should she really deliver a letter dripping with vulnerability? She closed the notebook undecided and tucked it into the drawer. Light bloomed outside the window. A skyline she'd only ever polished now wrapped itself in rosy dawn. As if marble and glass could blush, Caroline pressed a palm to the cool pane and let gratitude temper fear. Maybe, just maybe, the rope bridge was stronger than she thought. Saturday, 9:37 a.m. Room 514. Knock knock. Caroline turned. Thomas Gray filled the doorway in weekend clothes, no cufflinks, no tie, just dark jeans and a navy sweater that softened the angles of his stature. Lily skipped beside him wearing a brand new, bubblegum pink hard hat with a Madison Square logo stickered across the front. Safety first, Lily declared. Mr. Marco and maintenance sized it perfect. Thomas carried a white bakery box. We come bearing contraband croissants not cleared by dietary. Dana the nurse raised an eyebrow from the charting desk. 1 pastry, after vitals. Thomas saluted. Lily giggled. Carolina's pulse picked up, partly from joy, partly from the odd flutter that arrived whenever Thomas walked in. Dana finished her checks. Obu sat 95 then exited. Thomas set the box on the tray table, revealing croissants shaped like roses, each petal dusted with powdered sugar. Lily climbed into the visitor chair, swinging her legs. Mommy, smell them, she urged. Caroline inhaled flaky butter perfume. Heaven. Thomas slid a pastry onto a napkin and handed it over. Their fingers brushed static, sudden, and both drew back, surprised. Lily missed the moment. She was busy depetaling her croissant rose. So, Caroline said between tentative bites, how many meetings did you cancel today? Just 3, he answered, eyes twinkling. Turns out the market survives without me for 1 weekend. Breaking news, she teased, then a cough stole humor from her lungs. Thomas poured water, held the cup. She sipped carefully, aware of Lily's proud grandmommy's VIP treatment. When the cough subsided, Thomas indicated the notebook peeking from the drawer. Letter writing? She flushed, trying to keep busy. May I read? A long beat. Vulnerability squeezed her ribs tighter than pneumonia. Finally, she handed him Lily's letter, safer ground. He read silently, his eyes softened. She'll treasure this. I want her to remember bravery has echoes, Caroline said. The choices she made yesterday are still rippling, he finished, his gaze locked on hers earnest. And so are yours. Lily interrupted. Mommy, guess what? Mr. Gray showed me secret elevators nobody but engineers uses. And I got a badge that says Junior Operations Intern. She produced it like a medal. Caroline smiled, heart swelling. Fancy. Thomas grinned. She has already redesigned the lobby cleaning route to reduce backtracking. Efficiency genius. Mommy hates wasted steps, Lily said, solemn as a CFO. Thomas grew thoughtful. Your mama's philosophy might overhaul our entire facility's workflow. Caroline raised a brow. Overhaul? I just push mops. You see patterns others ignore, he corrected. Best design thinking. He crept up her neck. Compliments from a billionaire felt like mismatched puzzle pieces she wanted to believe they fit. But her inner critic kept sanding the edges. Lily finished the last crumb. Mommy, can I draw you a picture? Always. Thomas pulled a tablet from his satchel. Digital art studio courtesy of it. He handed the stylus to Lily. Knock yourself out. While Lily sketched at the foot of the bed, Thomas lowered his voice. How are you truly? Caroline sighed, scared, relieved, torn. I've never been this still. It is like someone hit pause on survival mode. He nodded. Stillness can be loud. Her eyes flicked to Lily. I am afraid downtime costs more than overtime. He leaned forward. Your rent, utilities, groceries they rehandled. Her mouth fell open. I can't accept charity. It is not charity, he said. It is an advance on future brilliance. Thomas, she rarely used his first name. It tasted intimate. What if I can return the favor? You already have. His gaze was steady, almost fierce. Yesterday you loaned me perspective. Silence pulsed like a heartbeat. He reached into his coat pocket. Withdrew a sealed envelope. This isn't a handout. It is a handshake. Consider it a bridge loan, interest paid in continued honesty. She accepted the envelope, fingers trembling. She decalculate later, gratitude blurred the numbers. Across the room Lily shrieked. Done. She angled the tablet. On screen. A cartoon skyscraper wore a smile stick figure. Janitors danced with bears. Clouds rained heart confetti. At the top of the tower a man in a cape held hands with a little girl in a hard hat. That is you, Mr. Gray, Lily explained. But I made your tie a cape because heroes need capes. Caroline laughed until a cough coaxed tears from her eyes. Thomas's cheeks reddened, but pride flared behind his composure. Saturday, 1:05 p.m. Madison Square boardroom. Meanwhile, 14 floors above empty weekend streets, 6 board members convened in mahogany splendor. Dominic Klein, interim chair, tapped his pen. Where is Thomas? Investor update is overdue. CFO Janice Lowell frowned. Hospital, apparently. Word is he cancelled Asia calls to visit a janitor. A janitor? Klein scoffed. That is quaint. Janice's gaze sharpened. Better than quaint, dangerous. Twitter's chewing on a blurry photo of him escorting a child through the lobby wearing housekeeping gear. People assume sweatshop scandal. Murmurs. We need peer containment, said marketing head Fiona Cho. Klein drummed fingers. And we need our CEO back in the driver's seat before rumors tank Monday's opening bell. They plotted contingency statements, oblivious to the fact that Thomas's absence was rewriting the very culture they pretended to protect. Saturday, 3:42 p.m. St. Vincent's rooftop terrace staff-only access. Dana the nurse led Lily and Thomas to a small terrace garden. Hospital policy allowed 1 visitor per patient, but a loophole let Caroline breathe fresh air if escorted by staff. Wrapped in blankets, oxygen tank humming beside her, she emerged blinking under pale autumn sun. I didn't know this existed, Caroline whispered. Most patients don't, Dana said. Healing needs sky, too. She stationed the tank and gave them privacy. Tall buildings fenced the horizon, yet blue stretched wide overhead. Lily chased a monarch butterfly between planters of rosemary and sage. Each laugh was Weinheim bright. Caroline rested on a wrought iron bench. Thomas sat beside her, leaving polite inches. Silence held them comfortable. Tentative, she spoke first. How does someone so busy find time for butterflies? He watched Lily twirl. A 7-year-old rewrote my schedule. She does that, Caroline smiled, then sobered. Yesterday felt like a fairy tale. But fairy tales fade when rent is due. Open the envelope, he urged. She did. Inside a cashier's check for 3 months' salary plus in her letter granting 8 weeks paid family leave. Retroactive. Tears sprang hot. 8 weeks. My department can run short-staffed. Facilities will hire temps, he said. Consider it phase 1 of our new flexibility program. She shook her head in wonder. Why me? Because you taught me the company is more than margins. It is people. When tugged loose strands of her hair, he tucked one behind her ear before realizing the intimacy. She didn't pull away. Electricity flickered between them, alive, terrifying. He cleared his throat. This isn't pity, Caroline. I know, she answered softly. That's what scares me. Before either could unpack the confession, Lily bounded over holding a plastic flower pot. Look, the nurse said we can plant wishes in here. Thomas smiled. What is your wish? She bit her lip, thinking, that mommy never runs out of hug batteries. Caroline's heart cracked open wider. Thomas nodded solemnly, approved. We'll add extra chargers. They planted a seed packet labeled Heartsease violets known as love and idleness. Lily covered seeds with soil, patting carefully. Violets symbolize loyalty, Thomas commented. Caroline raised an eyebrow. How do you know flower meanings? Google, he admitted, grunting. Saturday, 7:58 p.m. Room 514. Hospital night stretched like elastic, too long, too silent. Lily had gone home with their neighbor Mrs. Ortiz. Dana dimmed lights, promising morphine if pain spiked. Caroline refused. Clarity mattered. She reached for the notebook again. Letter 3 unsent to the father who left. Dear Anthony, it has been 7 years since you disappeared. Our daughter rode a public bus yesterday to save my job. She is courageous, clever, and impossibly kind, traits you once called weaknesses. You chose absence, she chose presence. One day she may ask where you are. I will tell her you were a chapter, not the story. Goodbye is an expensive word, but I can finally pay the price. See. She ripped the page free, folded it, and slipped it into the trash. Closure, didn't he need postage? A shadow crossed the doorway. Thomas again, holding a thermos. Chamomile. He explained, helps insomnia. She smiled gratefully. He poured 2 cups, drawing up a chair. For minutes they sipped without talking, sharing companionable quiet broken only by corridor footsteps. She set the cup down. I wrote letters today, one to you, but I was chicken to deliver it. His eyebrow arched. If you knew how many unsent drafts live in my laptop, he chuckled. May I see yours? Hands trembling, she handed over the notebook open to letter 2. He read, expression shifting from curiosity to something tender. Finishing, he looked up. I'll keep this if you don't mind. For what? As a reminder that leadership equals stewardship. He closed the notebook gently. Thank you. She swallowed. Thomas, board rumors will swirl. I don't want to endanger your position. His gaze hardened, but warmth remained. Let them swirl. Storms reveal foundation strength. Emotion swelled, a wave poised to break. She whispered, why does it feel like I've known you longer than a day? Some people meet on page 1, he said, others halfway through the book, but the story still finds them. She could barely breathe, and this time pneumonia wasn't he to blame. Before courage failed, she reached, placing her hand over his. Calloused palm met smooth skin. Electricity hummed. He squeezed back. No promises, no labels, just honest human contact. The moment held until Dana peeked in. Visiting hours technically ended. She warned, smiling. But I didn't see anything. Thomas rose. I'll be back tomorrow. She nodded, pulse drumming. He paused at the door. Caroline? Yes. Rest. The world needs you at full charge. When he was gone, Caroline lay back, heart racing. She pressed a hand to her chest. Feeling the envelope, a bridge-long heartbeat, she closed her eyes, and for the first time since sirens wailed that morning, sleep slipped in quietly. Sunday, 12:03 a.m. Madison Square Corporation, Thomas's home office. Thomas sat at his desk, city lights glinting like data points. He opened his mother's antique stationery and began to write. Letter 1 unsent to a janitor who isn't he. Caroline, I learned early that empires rise on sacrifice someone else's. Yesterday your daughter reminded me empires should rise on empathy. I am afraid of how easily you dismantle my defenses with nothing but sincerity. Afraid yet grateful. If courage is contagious, Lily got it from you. Sleep well. Tomorrow holds violet seeds and second chances. T. He folded the letter, but instead of sealing it, he slipped it into his journal, waiting for courage. Outside, the city pulsed taxis, neon, relentless ambition. Yet in one hospital bed a tired mother slept peacefully, an envelope of hope beneath her gown. And in one penthouse an ice king watched dawn approach, wondering how to build a world where love and profit weren't mutually exclusive. Letters written, ripped, or saved would chart the course. Tomorrow the ink would keep flowing. Chapter 3: A Janitor's Hidden Past. Monday, 5:18 a.m. Upper East Side, Manhattan. Thomas Gray woke to an unfamiliar sensation, anticipation, not dread. Usually the pre-dawn hour meant treadmill metrics rolling across a smart mirror, while global indices whispered profit or peril. Today his first impulse was to check an email folder labeled Caroline. Nothing new, of course. She was sleeping, but the mere possibility had rearranged his circadian rhythm. He dressed in running gear anyway, yet instead of pounding out miles he found himself opening a dusty file safe. Inside sat a slim leather-bound journal and a stack of resume printouts from the company as general hiring portal candidates he had once skimmed and forgotten. He thumbed past them until a bold-faced header stopped him. Brooks, Caroline. Application date 26 months prior. Position desired data entry clerk. Status rejected, overqualified, position filled. Overqualified. He muttered the word like a confession. Her had automated filters that flagged resumes with degrees exceeding job grade. Caroline S.B.S. in information systems from SUNY Buffalo had bounced her from data entry to unemployment until facilities hired her as part-time night janitor 2 weeks later. He scanned further DNS list every semester, winner of a collegiate hackathon, best algorithm for campus energy optimization, volunteer coding mentor at Girls Hotech Buffalo. 3 glowing references. A single mother with hospital bills had been sweeping floors while AI bugs tagged her as too smart. Thomas shut the file, heart hammering. The real scandal wasn't a blurry photo in the lobby. It was intellect wasted under fluorescent mop buckets. Monday, 7 a.m. St. Vincent's Medical Center, room 514. Sunlight spilled through slatted blinds, striping Carolina's blanket in warm gold. She sat upright, notebook balanced on her knees, hair released from yesterday's braid. Oxygen annula still traced her cheeks, but the fever was gone, and her eyes carried the calm of someone who'd survived the darkest rapids of the river. Lily, freshly scrubbed and ponytailed, was coloring the hospital menu with neon markers: green broccoli trees, purple mashed potatoes, orange steak. Nurse Dana called it abstract nutrition. A knock preceded Thomas's entrance. Today his suit lived on a hanger. He wore a heather gray cardigan, white tee, and Lily noted approvingly sneakers. He carried a paper tray, 3 hot chocolates topped by marshmallow constellations. Morning, engineers, he greeted. Lily bounced. Mommy says breakfast is the blueprint of the day. Caroline flushed. It's a saying I used when she wouldn't eat. Thomas handed the first cup to Lily, second to Caroline, then perched on the windowsill sipping his own. Blueprints, he echoed thoughtfully. That reminds me, ever heard of the Buffalo Hacksolvathon? Carolina's fingers tightened around the cup. A lifetime ago. Lily cocked her head. What is a hackathon? Thomas gestured animatedly. Picture a 24-hour pajama party where people build software instead of pillow forts. Cool, Lily squealed. Did mommy win? Carolina's cheeks pinked. Our team placed first, yes. Thomas lit a tablet from his messenger bag. On screen was a photo, a younger Caroline in oversized glasses, holding a trophy, joy exploding across her face. He defound it, archived on the competition's Facebook page at 3 a.m. Caroline swallowed hard, memories resurfacing like ships long submerged. Where did you? Public domain, he answered gently. I wanted to understand the talent my company almost missed. Lily's eyes widened. Mommy, you re a computer champion? Well, once is enough, Thomas said. Break a record, the record stays broken. Caroline set the cup down. I haven't coded in years. Muscle memory, Thomas countered. Like riding a bike. She shook her head. More like riding a unicycle uphill while juggling. He grinned. Then our corporate circus can use a good juggler. Before she could protest, Dana arrived with the morning labs. White L count normalizing. Chest x-ray clearer. Discharge likely in 48 hours. Relief washed Carolina's features, but immediately guilt chased it. 2 more days off work. Thomas cut in. We went over this family leave. Dana raised an eyebrow at Thomas, then Caroline. Family leave? Are congratulations in order? Caroline coughed, flustered. Company policy. He just updated it. Dana smirked knowingly. Policies and hearts both under revision, I see. She left them blushing. Monday, 10:15 a.m. Madison Square Corporation, floor 22, facilities wing. Harold Preston, facilities manager, waddled down the corridor clutching a steaming mug. He hated surprises, and the email from her flagged urgent executive directive had ruin written all over it. He burst into the janitorial hub, where uniform orders hung like ghost costumes. A woman with chartreuse hair, Lena from Hero, awaited him with a clipboard. Morning, Harold. We relaunching the apprentice pathway pilot. Pilot what? He barked. Custodial staff can shadow in any department 1 shift a week. Tech, finance, marketing, cross-training for mobility. Harold's jaw slackened. Mobility? Promotion ladder, continuing its stipends, Lena rattled off. Thomas wants names of interested employees by Friday. Harold sputtered into his coffee. You expect my night crew to learn coding? Lena smiled sweetly. Some already know. Caroline Brooks, for instance. Harold nearly dropped his mug. The janitor with the kid. He thought of Caroline's bent posture. Quiet greetings. Coding. This is madness, he muttered. Madness, Lena agreed, is doing nothing and praying for different retention numbers. She clicked her pen. Sign here to acknowledge. Harold scrawled his name, steam rising both from the cup and his ears. Monday, 12:07 p.m. St. Vincent's Hospital Chapel. Caroline escaped the hum of respirators to the small multi-faith chapel. Stained glass arcs painted pools of turquoise and amber on cushioned pews. She wanted deeply religious, but silence helped her think. She fingered the buffalo trophy photo Thomas had printed for her. That girl in the picture, spirited, ambitious, felt like a pen name she once wrote under. The years between had been chapters of survival, morning sickness alone, eviction notices, cold calling families for babysitting gigs, cleaning shifts that ended at dawn. Code had turned into ciphers she couldn't afford to decode. A memory surfaced senior year capstone presentation. She depitched adaptive resource scheduler, software to optimize campus utilities and save thousands. Applause thundered. Professors encouraged grad school. Then she discovered the pregnancy test waiting back at the dorm. Dream deferred, gown exchanged for maternity scrubs. She closed her eyes, fighting tears. Dreams deferred, warranty always dead, but resurrection required more than hope. It needed room to breathe. Footsteps echoed softly. She opened her eyes to find Thomas hovering perplexed, holding a little white box. Sorry, he whispered. Nurse said you slipped away. It is fine, she replied, wiping her cheeks. Didn't he realize the chapel had low DAC? He held up the box. Peace offering, sugar-free lemon drops. She chuckled, accepting one. They sat in the front pew, respectful distance. Sunlight through cobalt glass splashed across his profile, blurring the hard edges of his jaw. I read more of your file, he said quietly. Your capstone idea cut energy waste by 28%. She exhaled. Ancient history. He turned to her. History is data. Data informs future models. She arched an eyebrow. Are you always this motivational? I outsourced the pep talks, he deadpanned. Today I am freelancing. Despite herself, she laughed, a bright, clear note that bounced against vaulted ceilings. When sound settled, she asked, what do you want from me, Thomas? He cocked his head. Honesty. Courage to test your code again. 48 hours. You'll all be home. After that, join apprentice pathway, shadow our DevOps team. 1 day a week. My body is still weak. I am a single parent. Night shifts. Day shifts. With paid protection. We'll hire a temp for nights. She shook her head in disbelief. Why take this risk on a janitor? Because you re not a janitor, he said softly. You re an engineer who took an alternate route. Happens more than you think. Emotion swelled. Half gratitude, half fear. If I fail. If you fail, we reassess. But you won T. You solved campus grids at 20. She bit her lip. I lost that momentum. Momentum is mass times velocity, he said. Your master talent remains constant. We just need to restore velocity. Tears threatened again. She blinked them away. Lilia's laugh filtered from the hallway outside. Mrs. Ortiz had brought her for afternoon visit. The sound steadied Caroline's resolve. Okay, she whispered. 1 day a week. He extended his hand. She shook it, grip firm, pulse skittering. A contract signed on trust alone. Monday, 3:20 p.m. Madison Square Corporation Executive Suite. Vice Chair Dominic Klein barged into Thomas's office, finding it for once empty. Only a sticky note on the monitor back at 4:30. Protect the kingdom. Dominic scoffed. He scanned the desk, flawless, except the photo framed Thomas as a child with his mother in front of a modest brick house. Dominic smirked. Sentiment was leverage. He pocketed the frame momentarily, noting a second item, a crayon nap labeled Lilia's Cleaning Quest. The Titan of Wall Street had replaced spreadsheets with scribbles. Good. The Bordeaux coup would be easier if their monarch traded swords for crayons. Monday, 4:55 p.m. St. Vincent S. Room 514. Lily showcased a new drawing, mommy in a superhero mask typing on a laptop. Mr. Gray floating above on a cloud labeled ideas, Lily firing rainbow beams that said courage. Caroline laughed so hard her pulse ox alarm beeped. Thomas joined, offering an impromptu suggestion. We need a villain for dramatic tension. Lily thought, dust bunnies with evil grins. Caroline grinned. Perfect. Coding versus, cleaning versus, chaos. A knock. Dr. Patel entered with final lab results. Good news. You can go home tomorrow afternoon if vitals stay strong. Relief flooded the trio. Dr. Patel glanced at Thomas. She'll need low-stress recovery. Thomas nodded. We'll arrange remote orientation for her apprenticeship. Dr. Patel raised a brow. Apprenticeship? Caroline explained quickly. Patel smiled. Neuroplasticity loves challenge. Just balance with rest. Lily saluted. Nurse Lily will enforce bedtimes. Patel chuckled. Promote her to chief of compliance. Monday, 7:40 p.m. Queen's Caroline's apartment. Mrs. Ortiz opened the door to a modest two-bedroom walk-up. Lily darted to her bedroom, pink walls plastered with star maps and stray crayon constellations. Thomas carried a grocery bag, soup, bread, oranges, and a tiny potted violet the hospital seat had sprouted but couldn't leave yet. This was a stand-in. Caroline stepped inside gingerly. Home smelled of lemon cleaner and lavender settets. She descrubbed every inch weekly, never certain when landlords might inspect. Now medical tape peeked from under her sleeve, fatigue buzzed in her limbs. She felt torn between gratitude for home and dread of bills piled on the counter. Thomas set the groceries on the stove, scanning the apartment tidy, but tiny. Floorboards creaked, radiators hissed. He noticed taped lists on the fridge, bills, meal plan, library day, organization born from necessity. Sorry it is cramped, she apologized reflexively. It is organized, he countered. A system. I appreciate systems. She smiled weakly. If you want tea, kettle whistle is stuck, just listen for the screech. He filled the kettle anyway. While water heated, he surveyed a corkboard above the table, magazine clippings of tech articles, scribbled ideas, Lilius drawings. An old stick note read, one day I'll build again. He touched it gently. Why not today? She joined him, leaning on the chair for support. Because building requires budgets. He opened his messenger bag, retrieved a slim silver laptop. Company issue, yours. Her eyes widened. Thomas, I can T. Asset loan, accounting aware. It is precoded with dev tools, sandbox credentials, and a Slack channel titled Project Phoenix. She traced the logo on the lid with trembling fingers. Phoenix, she whispered, rising from ashes. Seemed apt. Tears finally spilled. No one else believed in me like this. He wiped a tear with his thumb. Believe in yourself, I am just catching up. The kettle screeched. They laughed through damp eyes. Lily barged in wearing pajamas and a stethoscope fashioned from pipe cleaners. Vitals check, she announced, pressing the plastic end to her mother's chest. Diagnosis? Thomas asked. Over happy heart, Lily said seriously. Needs one story before bed. Caroline ruffled her hair. Which story? The one where mommy saved the campus with code magic. They settled on the couch, Caroline in the middle, Lily on her lap. Thomas perched on the armrest. Caroline recounted her hackathon glory, sleepless hours, energy graphs dancing, the final algorithm locking into place at dawn. Lily's eyes shimmered, Thomas's too, though he pretended to study the kettle steam. When the story ended, Lily yawned. I want to be a coder janitor princess. Thomas chuckled. Triple threat. Caroline carried Lily to bed carefully and tucked her in. She lingered, brushing curls from Lily's forehead, overwhelmed by love so fierce it hurt. Back in the kitchen, Thomas poured tea into mismatched mugs. To hidden pasts, he toasted. She raised hers, and unlocked futures. They sipped, silence thickened with unspoken feelings. Finally, Thomas set the cup down. Tomorrow you come home. Next week you meet the DevOps team. But tonight you rest. She nodded. Will you be okay with board backlash? He smirked. Let them come. I've got my own coder janitor princess backing me up. She laughed softly. Then impulse overruled caution. She leaned in, brushed her lips to his cheek. A spark zipped through them both. She pulled back, embarrassed, but he caught her hand. Caroline, his voice was barely above a whisper. UV survives storms alone. Let someone share the umbrella. She breathed. I am afraid of needing help. Needing isn't weakness, it is physics. Even skyscrapers need beams. Tears again, happy ones. Okay, she murmured. He kissed her knuckles. Sleep. I'll lock up. She disappeared into Lilius' room, heart racing. Thomas washed mugs, closed laptop lids, switched off lights. Before leaving, he pinned a note to the corkboard. Welcome to Phoenix, first flight 9 a.m. Monday. Trust your wings. He stepped into the night, city wind cool on his face. Hidden paths often chained people to the ground. Tonight, he'd watch chains loosen. Tomorrow they would test liftoff. Midnight, 12:08 a.m. Unknown location. Dominic Klein sipped scotch in a dim penthouse library. His private investigator slid a folder across mahogany. Everything you asked. Caroline Brooks, single mother, degrees, debt trail, ex-partner Anthony Lang, record of substance abuse, outstanding warrant. Dominic's lips curled. Perfect. And evidence connecting her to Thomas. Photos, hospital visits, gift receipts. He fanned glossy prints. Rumor mill will explode. Dominic tapped ash from his cigar, leaked them strategically. Enough smoke to panic investors. Yes, sir. Dominic raised the glass to his reflection in the window. The city a glittering board game. Let us see how the Ice King handles heat. End of Chapter 3. Chapter 4. The CEO's Second Chance. Tuesday, 6:09 a.m. Madison Square Tower, 47th floor, Sky Gym. Treadmills faced floor to oil and glass, the city below still yawning awake. Thomas usually ran alone, earbuds tuned to earnings calls. Today he invited one unlikely partner, Harold Preston, facilities manager and resident skeptic of all things new. Harold arrived red-faced, sweatpants clinging like regret. Why am I here at dawn, Mr. Gray? He puffed. Because dawn is when perspectives shift, Thomas answered, increasing speed. Also because I need your signature on apprentice pathway budgets before the board meeting. Harold squinted. Budgets this size need 20-day review. 20 days is the Ice Age in corporate time. Thomas tapped a wristband that projected Lilia's crayon nap across a smart mirror. This is the future. Efficient, human. I'd rather sprint than crawl. Harold watched colored arrows glide over mirrored chrome, a childish vision reflected in a millionaire's gym. For the first time he looked almost convinced. Thomas slowed to a jog. Second chances. Don't wait, Harold. Sign before coffee cools. Harold grunted but pocketed the document. Tuesday, 8:17 a.m. Queen's Caroline's apartment. Morning sun painted stripes on the parquet floor. Caroline, dressed in soft gray sweats, breathed deeply, savoring the absence of hospital antiseptic. The new laptop sat atop a folding table. Its glowing cursor blinked like a dare. Mommy, why isn't the computer talking yet? Lily, now deputy project manager of everything, drummed fingers on the table. Because Mommy is scared she forgot how, Caroline admitted. Lily clicked her tongue. Batteries, remember? You got a full hug last night. She wrapped skinny arms around her mother's waist. Double charged. Caroline laughed, courage flickering on. She opened the sandbox-eyed, fingers hovering over keys. She typed import hope. The terminal flashed red syntax error. Lily giggled. Computer says try again. Caroline corrected to import numpy as epi hope comes later. And so it began. Tuesday, 9:05 a.m. Madison Square boardroom. 12 leather chairs formed a crescent around a teak table polished to a mirror finish. Dominic Klein sat at the prow, flanked by Janice Lowell and Fiona Cho. Folders labeled Media Leaks lay open, glossy photos of Thomas and Lily splashed across them. Timing is everything, Dominic said, voice low. Release at noon, peak social engagement. Janice looked uneasy. It as a child, Dominic. Ms. Brooks hasn't he done anything wrong? Dominic swirled amber liquor in a crystal tumbler. Yes, before breakfast. Optics, Janice, if we frame this as nepotism and misappropriation of resources. Shareholders panic. Thomas steps down, I step in. Clean quick. Fiona glanced at her phone. Yes, unusually early today, gym by 6. Facilities by 7, perhaps he knows. Dominic's grin was shark thin. Let the ice king skate. Soon the ice thins. Tuesday, 10:31 a.m. Madison Square Innovation Hub, floor 23. A glass-walled space normally reserved for think tank retreats now buzzed with the first apprentice pathway orientation. 10 custodial employees sat in swivel chairs, clutching company-issued tablets like passports to new countries. Caroline, still pale but determined, arrived with Lily in tow, board-approved visitor badge around the child's neck. Lead engineer May-Kwan projected a slide titled Welcome, Cross-Trainers. She spotted Caroline and waved excitedly. May had spent the dawn hours reading Caroline's hackathon paper. Thomas stood off stage, arms folded, eyes shining. He addressed the group. I built my career looking for outliers, people who don't fit boxes. Turns out some of them push mops at night, beginning today. The walls between floors are glass. We see through them, learn through them, and climb. Caroline swallowed a lump. Applause erupted. Lily clapped loudest, hard hat bobbing. May launched into lesson 1 version control basics. Caroline's fingers found rhythm on the keyboard. Get in it, get add, get commit. Muscles remembered, velocity returned. Thomas watched from behind and felt an ache he hadn't named hope mixed with something softer. Tuesday, 12:02 p.m. Broadway 43rd digital billboard. At high noon, Dominic Espier's firm executed Phase 1, a Times Square billboard lit up with a headline, Ice King's Playground Child Labor Scandal. Below, paparazzi shots showed Lily in baggy uniform, Thomas walking beside her. Overlay text, billionaire exploits underage worker while funneling perks to single mom janitor. Twitter detonated, Greygate trended within minutes. Stock WhatsApps flashed red arrows. Inside Madison Square, phones buzzed like hornets. Janice pursed her lips. She expected drama, not wildfire. Fiona drafted a press release but her hand shook. Dominic smiled, all according to plan. Tuesday, 12:19 p.m. Innovation Hub. May paused the workshop as alarms pinged everyone's devices. Caroline looked at the screen. Blood draining from her face, the billboard photo, her daughter, the accusation. Whispers filled the room. Thomas's phone exploded with calls from legal. From investors, from his own VR director who sounded on the verge of rupture. He muted the line. Calm settled over him like snowfall. Take 10. He told the apprentices. Then he turned to Caroline. Let us talk upstairs. Lily tugged his sleeve. Did we do something wrong? No, he said firmly. Someone else did. Tuesday, 12:27 p.m. 47th floor executive suite. Caroline sat on the settee where Lily had once sipped apple juice. Now her hands trembled over the same microfiber cloth she tucked in her pocket for luck. Lily climbed beside her, confused but brave. Thomas paced, phone glued to his ear. Hold the line, Joel. We'll issue a statement within the hour. No, there is no child labor, there is mentorship and family leave reforms. Investors can review her documents anytime. He hung up. He knelt before Caroline. I am sorry. She shook her head. You didn't take those photos. Responsibility is still mine. He stood, jaw set. A board meets at 2. They want my resignation. Lily's eyes widened. Quit, because of me? Thomas crouched again. Never because of you. Because they fear what they don't understand. Caroline exhaled shackily. What will you do? He straightened. Tell the truth, publicly. And if I lose this job, I'll start another company, one that hires women like you in daylight, not in shadows. She rose, gripping his sleeve. I want to let you fall for me. He smiled gently. Maybe I need to fall to climb differently. She searched his eyes, then nodded. Trust signed without ink. Tuesday, 1:55 p.m. Boardroom of 52nd floor. A half moon of stern faces awaited Thomas. Dominic lounged at the head. Papers stacked like ammunition. A live video link fed to 10 satellite investors flickered overhead. Thomas entered alone, no lawyers. He placed a single object on the table, Lily's crayon nap. Murmurs. Dominic cleared his throat. Mr. Gray, you are charged with severe lapses in judgment, endangering a minor, misappropriation of corporate resources, and conflicts of interest with subordinates. Thomas clasped his hands. I see courage, not conflict. Lily Brooks wore a janitorial uniform to protect her mother's job. I merely followed her lead. Dominic slid photos across the table. Exploitation plain as day. Thomas activated the Room S3 projector. Her files, timestamps, and Faility badge logs spiraled in holographic data. Lily was a guest observer, covered by liability waivers. Photo context was manipulated. He swiped. The projection displayed employee retention metrics, custodial turnover down 20.0% since the apprentice pathway email. A second slide showed trending social sentiment from inside the company for 0 likes on Thomas's internal post glass walls. These aren't numbers, Thomas said, voice steady. They read stories. People who felt invisible now stand in the light. Janice Lowell looked moved. Fiona Cho's pen paused. Dominic scoffed. Investors daunted by fairy tales. Thomas tapped again. A live poll from shareholders popped up. 72.0% support clout building family programs. 18.0% undecided. 10.0% oppose. Support climbed in real time. Turns out they do, Thomas replied. Dominic's nostrils flared. We still demand resignation. Thomas smiled faintly. Then you all accept mine. Guests. Janice's hand flew to her mouth. Effective immediately if, Thomas continued, the board rescinds apprentice pathway, revokes Caroline Brooks's leave, or fails to ratify the employee family support charter. Dominic sputtered. You re-blackmailing us with your own departure? Not blackmail. Priorities. Thomas folded his arms. I am willing to walk if this culture reverts to the Ice Age. Silence thickened. At length Janice stood. I move to retain Mr. Gray and adopt the charter. Long-term equity relies on human capital. Fiona seconded. Hands raised. 7-4-3 against. Motion passed. Dominic slammed a fist. You will regret this. Thomas gathered Lily's nap. I regret only staying frozen so long. He left the room, heart drumming not with fear but with a strange, weightless joy. Tuesday, 3:04 p.m. Executive balcony, 47th floor. When whipped ties and hair alike, Thomas stepped onto the balcony where Lily once judged cloud shapes. Caroline waited, leaning on the railing. She looked at him, searching. Well, she asked. The kingdom chose thaw. He smiled. We stay. Her shoulders sagged in relief. He moved closer. I soft. But I realized something. Second chances don't belong to EOS alone. They belong to anyone who dares claim them. She swallowed. I am claiming mine. He brushed a curl from her cheek. And I am claiming you if you all let me. Tears formed. Careful. The media will call it a scandal. Let them write headlines. We'll write history. He lowered his head. Their lips met, a gentle promise blooming under city sky. When they parted, Lily burst through the door, hard hat askew. Mommy, Mr. Harold says my map is the new training manual. Caroline laughed, wiping happy tears. Thomas hoisted Lily onto his shoulders. Chief Strategy Officer in the making. Lily squealed, higher, I can see the whole world. Thomas grinned up at her, that is the point. Caroline joined, arm wrapped around Thomas's waist. Together they faced the skyline. Each tower no longer an ivory prison but a ladder of possibilities. Tuesday 6:18 p.m. Times Square. Dominic's billboard still flashed allegations, but below, a spontaneous crowd of Madison Square employees gathered. Janitors in coveralls, coders in hoodies, assistants in heels all hoisting handmade signs I was invisible I am apprentice pathway. Tourists snapped photos, reporters arrived to seize a new angle, workers defending their CEO. Hashtags pivoted, Greygate trended downward, glass wall soared, stock tickers rebounded. Dominic watched from a limousine, scotch in hand. The narrative slipped from his grasp like sand. Rage simmered, this one tea over. Tuesday 9:51 p.m. Queens rooftop, Caroline's building. Stars fought light pollution overhead. Caroline sat on a folding chair, wrapped in a blanket. Thomas set 2 mugs of cocoa on a milk-crate table. Lily planted herself cross-legged, pointing out constellations she decolored earlier. There's Pegasus, Lily declared, and their Phoenix. Caroline sighed contentedly, rise happy little bird. Thomas touched her hand. Today was chaos. Beautiful chaos, she corrected. He chuckled. 10 years ago I missed my chance to propose to someone I loved. Work devoured time. Cancer devoured her. IV lived with that ache until you. She squeezed his fingers. We all carry ghosts, but tonight feels alive. He reached into his pocket, not for a ring, but for the letter he'd written but never mailed. He unfolded it, voice trembling as he read aloud, I learned early that empires rise on sacrifice someone else's. Yesterday your daughter reminded me empires should rise on empathy. He laid the letter in her lap. That was day 2. Today is day 5. May I rewrite it together? Carolina's eyes glistened. Let us draft a future. Lily looked between them. Does this mean more bear pancakes? They burst into laughter. Thomas hauled Lily into his lap. Endless supply. In the hush that followed, Caroline rested her head on Thomas's shoulder. Below, traffic hummed, billboards flashed, but high above on a Queens rooftop a new paradigm quietly planted roots, a CEO with a second chance, a coder with rediscovered velocity, and a little girl whose bravery became blueprints for a kinder empire. Clouds drifted, forming shapes only children name. Lily traced one with her finger. Mommy, that one looks like a mob turning into a rocket. Caroline smiled, closing her eyes against Thomas's chest. Yes, love. And it's headed straight for the stars. End of Chapter 4. Chapter 5, Whispers in the Boardroom. Wednesday 5:44 a.m. Madison Square Tower Sub-Basement Archive. Dust motes drifted in flashlight beams as Dominic Klein strode between rows of file cabinets no one had opened since the company went paperless. His Italian loafers left impatient echoes on concrete. Behind him shuffled Victor Grant, a junior compliance officer coerced with after-horse promises of fast-track visibility. Sir, these records are from mergers 2 decades ago, Victor whispered, voice bouncing off ductwork. Why dig here? Dominic snapped a latex glove into place. Because the past is a loaded gun, Mr. Grant, and I intend to aim it. He stopped at Cabinet 7 Facilities vendor contracts. After Jermaine the rusted latch, he criffled until he found a yellowing folder labeled Greenstar Janitorial Subcontract Bid, signed 14 years prior by Arthur Gray, Thomas's late father and the company's founding CEO. Hence rawled margins suggested haste, rate sheet suggested underpayment. Dominic's lips curled. Skeletons always dance when you turn up the music. He slid the folder into a briefcase and straightened, dusting off. Time to make the prince answer for the sins of the king. Victor lingered, eyeing tea that ethically questionable? Dominic's gaze chilled the stale air. Ethics are opinions, results are dividends. They left the archive, lights swinging behind them like guilty chandeliers. Wednesday 8:13 a.m. Queens Carolina's kitchen. Caroline stood at the counter studying a Slack notification. DevOps sprint kickoff 10 o'clock a.m. Link attached. She sipped herbal tea, breath still wheezy but stronger. Lily sat nearby constructing a Lego city, tiny skyscrapers, magnific janitors. A pink hard hat piece she insisted was trademarked. Mommy, do yos play Legos? Lily asked. Caroline smiled. Only the smart ones. She touched the laptop lid, nervous. Today she would code Lev with real engineers for the first time since college. Imposter syndrome nod. but Thomas's note on the fridge fought back, "Trust your wings." Just then her phone buzzed. "Thomas. Morning, Phoenix. Big first flight ready?" She typed, talon shaking, but ready. He replied with a gif of a penguin tripping, sprouting jetpacks, and zooming off screen. Her laugh startled even Lily. Wednesday, 9:58 a.m. Madison Square, 52nd floor hallway outside boardroom A. A half dozen executives queued for an emergency board session. Whispered rumors fluttered like bats. SEC review. Historic underpayment lawsuit. CEO suspension. The building's rumormongers produced theories faster than the espresso bar. Inside the room, Dominic organized placards, letting tension marinate. He'd emailed the Green Star file to every director at dawn. He'd also blind copied Reuters. All he needed now was for Thomas to arrive late, preferably flustered. At 10:01 the elevator pinged. Thomas emerged, unhurried, cardigan swapped for a charcoal suit but no tie. He carried only Lilia's updated cleaning map, now digitized and laminated. Dominic feigned surprise. "Thomas, good of you to join on short notice." Thomas surveyed the worried faces. "Your summons implied urgency. I rearranged my day." "I can imagine," Dominic said, oozing sympathy. "Shall we?" Wednesday, 10:04 a.m. Boardroom, a live feed to investors. The board took seats. Thomas noticed 2 additional lawyers in the corner and a court reporter setting up a stenograph. He folded his hands. Dominic cleared his throat near a new poster board displaying historic wage suppression allegations. "Colleagues," he began, overnight evidence surfaced indicating that Madison Square, under Arthur Gray's tenure, orchestrated subcontracting deals that paid janitorial staff below federal guidelines. This could escalate to class action litigation. Guests, cameras clicked. Dominic continued, "While Mr. Gray bears no direct blame, he inherits fiduciary liability. We must consider removing him until investigations conclude." Thomas remained calm. "May I see the evidence?" Dominic slid the Green Star folder across. Thomas flipped pages, handwriting unmistakably his father's. A pang pierced his chest. Arthur had always preached frugality, but this... Janice Lowell raised a cautious hand. "Thomas, we sympathize. Still, investors will panic at the hint of labor exploitation." Thomas looked around. "You think burying me steadies markets?" Dominic smirked. "Proactive containment." Thomas took a breath. "Then let us be proactive the right way. Full transparency." Fiona Cho frowned. Meaning, Thomas said, "We announce an independent audit of all subcontractor arrangements, past and present, make results public, and create a restitution fund for underpaid workers." Dominic scoffed. "Restitution could cost millions." Thomas nodded. "So could litigation and brand erosion. This path buys goodwill." Janice leaned forward, intrigued. "And leadership?" "I'll remain CEO," Thomas said, voice steady, "but I'll relinquish 20.0% of my annual bonus into the fund. Effective immediately. Directors are welcome to match." Silence. Dominic's temple pulsed. Thomas slid Lily's laminated map onto the table. "This company belongs to every hand that cleans. Codes, cells, or signs. If we wronged any of them, we set it right." Investor chat windows filled with thumbs up emojis. Janice whispered to Fiona. They both nodded. Votes were cast digitally. Retain CEO. Launch audit. Create fund. Motion carried 7-4. Dominic's chair screeched as he stood. "You sentimental fools." He slapped the table, stormed out. The door thundered behind him. Thomas exhaled softly. Janice smiled. "Second chances for corporations too." Wednesday, 11:16 a.m. Dominic's private office, 51st floor. Dominic paced, phone glued to his ear. Leak, didn't he bite? They were praising his altruism. He paused, listening to his pure lead grovel. Then spin harder, painted as ego driven theatrics. A ping, new email. Subject, letter of resignation, Victor Grant. Dominic growled. The junior compliance officer had flipped, attaching an affidavit describing pressure to procure historical dirt. Dominic hurled his phone. It splintered against glass. Panic eclipsed rage. His coup was unraveling. Wednesday, 11:59 a.m. Queen's apartment, virtual sprint room. Caroline watched rectangles of engineers chatter. Mequan shared her screen, backlog tickets cascading like Tetris blocks. "Caroline, would you demo the risk or scheduler snippet you posted this morning?" Caroline swallowed nerves and shared her eyed. Fingers flew. Python loops. Rest calls. Visualization. The simulation ran. Carbon footprint. Grass dropped 18. Zoom silence, then applause via emoji rain. May beamed. "That's a week of work done pre-lunch. Outstanding." Caroline flushed. Lily, listening off camera, pumped fists. "Mommy crushed it." Slack pinged direct message from CV. Thomas, they love you. Proud doesn't he cover it? Caroline still shaking. Thomas, shake out the ashes. Phoenix in flight. She covered her mouth to hide a grin. Wednesday, 12:22 p.m. Madison Square cafeteria. Word of the boardroom showdown traveled faster than espresso. Custodians high-fived programmers. Security guards clapped Thomas on the back. Someone printed t-shirts glass walls crew. Thomas collected a salad, barely tasting victory. He worried about the audit as toll, about Dominic's next move and about his own heart, which felt simultaneously lighter and more vulnerable. Harold Preston approached, breathless. Sir, early numbers 97.0% of facilities staff signed up for cross-training modules. Morales through the roof. Thomas smiled. Ceilings made of glass become skylights. Harold blinked. That is poetic, sir. Thomas's brow lifted. You'll all get used to it. Wednesday, 2:07 p.m. Rooftop garden. Caroline, cleared for light walking, visited the rooftop accompanied by May and Lily. Violet seedlings had sprouted trifoliate leaves, tiny green flags of resilience. May knelt. We should log their growth data, build a time-lapse for internal cones. Lily clapped. Yes, call it hope speed. They laughed. Caroline's lungs expanded, pain-free gratitude flooded her. She texted Thomas a photo of Lily pressing her cheek to the planter. Thomas replied, meeting hell, needed this view. She typed, come up, vitamin sunlight family. Within minutes he arrived, tie gone again. He crouched beside Lily. Any prophetic words from head gardener? Lily considered. Plants grow toward the sun. People should too. Thomas saluted. Message received. He turned to Caroline. Audit approved. Dominic furious. She rested a hand on his sleeve. Truth inoculates. He smiled, tension easing. Coffee? Doctor said decaf. Then decaf it is. Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. St. Vincent's Medical Center Records Department. Dominic, disguised in a baseball cap and trench coat, ridiculous on a 70-degree day, slipped a crisp envelope across the clerk's desk. Donation for nurses fund. In return, I need files on patient Caroline Brooks, specifically unpaid bills. The clerk frowned. HIPAA forbids release. Dominic slid a second envelope thicker. Surely there's a way. Before the clerk could reply, a security guard tapped Dominic's shoulder. Sir, administration flags suspicious requests. Please leave. Dominic's jaw clenched. He pocketed the envelopes and stormed out. Umbrella of fury widening with each thwarted plan. Wednesday, 4:48 p.m. Innovation Hub. May wrapped up the sprint. Shoutouts. Caroline crushed energy scheduler. Trevor documented capes. Lily, she winked, taught us beer panic calculus. Lily giggled behind her screen time headset. Thomas stepped in. Applause erupted. He raised hands. I am just here to give credit. Hard problems fear passionate people, and right now we fearless. May presented a t-shirt, Phoenix DevOps. They insisted Thomas and Caroline model for a group photo. Lily center. Tiny Wings logo on her hard hat. Cameras flashed, laughter ricocheted. Outside the glass wall, Dominic watched, unseen jealousy corroding restraint. Wednesday, 5:06 p.m. Midtown Bar, the Gavel Grain. Dominic met investigative journalist Clara Marquez, known for exposes with collateral damage. He slid her the Green Star file plus a use. Gray's father exploited labor. Son knew hid it. Clara skimmed. Dated signatures. Need current malfeasance. Dominic leaned in. His lover is a janitor turned apprentice. He has funneling perks. Covering medical bills. Manipulating corporate policy for personal gain. Claire arched an eyebrow. Evidence? Dominic hesitated. Victor's affidavit cut deeper than he let on. Working on it. But the angle sells. Clara sipped whiskey. I deal in facts, not grudges. Bring smoking guns. Not water pistols. She stood grabbing her coat. Until then, good evening. Dominic's knuckles whitened around his glass. Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Queen's Carolina's living room. Dinner was simple, grilled cheese and tomato soup, but tasted like victory. Lily dunked sandwich triangles while recounting Sprint jokes. Thomas laughed, stirring extra basil into Carolina's bowl. News ticker on the muted TV scrawled, Madison Square announces historic restitution fund. Labor advocates praise move. Caroline blinked. You already issued the statement? Thomas shrugged. Transparency, remember? She squeezed his hand beneath the table. My hacker heart approves. Suddenly Lily gasped at the screen. Mommy, look, Mr. Dominic. Camera footage showed Dominic leaving the gavel grain, reporters pestering him about misconduct allegations. Dominic shoved cameras, muttering no comment. Lily frowned. He looks like a badger. Thomas muted the television further. Sometimes a badger backs itself into a corner. Caroline studied Thomas's weary eyes. You okay? He exhaled. Winning battles costs energy. She slid her soup aside and hopped his face. Recharged, she kissed him soft. Steady, Lily giggled, hiding behind her cup. Thomas's shoulders relaxed. Batteries at 80. More soup, Lily decreed. 100. They laughed, linking mugs like Chelsea's. Wednesday, 10:03 p.m. Thomas's penthouse. City lights glittered while Thomas paced on the balcony. A tablet displayed fresh poll data, public sentiment rising, stock stabilizing. Still, he foresaw Dominic's next play: personal sabotage. He called cybersecurity chief Raj Patel. Need you to fortify our email servers. Expect targeted leaks. Pause and monitor Dominic's access logs quietly. Raj obeyed. Thomas stared at the skyline where spotlights bathed skyscrapers in white. He whispered a prayer he hadn't uttered in years: keep them safe. Thursday, 12:22 a.m. Dominic's penthouse library. Dominic stared at a cracked phone screen displaying investor board contact lists. Scotch bottle half gone. He opened a safe, removed a velvet box containing his late mother's signet ring, proof he once cared for more than power. He set it aside, hands trembling. He tapped an email to all major shareholders. Subject: urgent, imminent risk. Fingers hovered, then dropped. He closed the draft. A beat of conscience. No strategy. He poured another scotch and drafted a different message. To Anthony Lane, unknown, at throwaway.mail. Subject: a lucrative reunion. He typed, Ms. Brooks' new benefactor makes an inviting target. Your story, our resources, payday. Interested. Send. He leaned back, darkness pooling like ink. Whispers in boardrooms had grown into roars. If he couldn't dethrone the Ice King internally, he'd bring an ex-deadbeat into play. Let love become liability. Thursday, 3:14 a.m. Unknown motel, Outer Boroughs. Anthony Lane, eyes bloodshot, stared at the email glowing on his cracked phone. He remembered Caroline, bright-eyed college girl who loved puzzles, and the infant he'd never met. Cash was scarce, debts plentiful. He inhaled the stale air, typed 2 words: I am listening. End of Chapter 5. Chapter 6, a courtroom stand. Monday, 6:47 a.m. Queens Family Courthouse, Jamaica Avenue. Gray skies pressed low on the courthouse facade, as if the weather knew lives were about to tilt. Caroline stepped from the cab first, black slacks still a shade too loose after pneumonia, palms slick inside knit gloves. Thomas followed, suit crisp, carrying Lilia's backpack and a slim leather folio. Their fingers brushed but didn't intertwine outside the glass walls of Madison Square. Every move might be evidence. Lily hopped out last, rainbow umbrella twirling. Court sounds like fort. Are we storming a castle? Caroline managed to smile. Something like that, Peanut. Across the sidewalk, a man leaned against a lamppost, faded jeans, greased hair, eyes like spent matches. Anthony Lane. He ground a cigarette beneath his boot when he saw them, straightening into a swagger that made Lily shrink behind her mother's leg. Caroline, he drawled. Didn't he know you'd bring your sugar daddy as moral support? Thomas's jaw tensed, but he kept his voice level. My name is Thomas Gray. I am here for Lily. Anthony smirked. Price tag on that loyalty? Before Thomas could answer, a calm mezzo voice sliced through the tension. Mr. Lane, save commentary for the bench. Amelia Torres, Caroline's attorney, approached light gray power suit, coils of dark hair pinned like a crown. Known in legal circles as the lioness for single moms, she carried no briefcase. She never lost one. Amelia nodded to Caroline, then knelt so her eyes met Lily's. Ready to show the court how brave you are? Lily puffed air through her cheeks. Can I tell the judge about bear pancakes? Only if we need irrefutable proof of happiness. Amelia winked, leading them inside. Monday, 7:19 a.m. Family Services Mediation Room. Fluorescent lights buzzed. A mediator named Mr. Clark, tortoise glasses, voice like in PR jazz, invited both parties to sit. Carpet smelled of coffee and old crayons. Anthony sprawled in his chair, lawyerless confidence riding shotgun with ignorance. Clark opened the file. Mr. Lang, you seek joint custody of Lily Brooks, grounds. Anthony licked cracked lips. I've turned my life around. Got a job at a body shop. My daughter deserves a father. Amelia slid photographs across the table. Anthony exiting the gavel grain 2 nights prior. Stumbling, keys in unreachable pockets. Documented blood alcohol 12 Mr. Clark, arrest record last January for disorderly conduct. Anthony's nostrils flared. Misdemeanor expunged next month. Amelia didn't blink. 6 missed child support notices. 0 birthday cards. Anthony lunged halfway from his chair. She never told me the address. Carolina's voice, quiet but unwavering. My mailing address hasn't changed in 5 years. She slid copies of prior email attempts, each bounced back, recipient inbox full. Anthony's bravado faltered. Look, I just wanna know my kid. Clark turned to Lily. Sweetheart, would you like to say something? Lily's grip tightened on her stuffed koala, Mr. Sawdust. She peeked at her mother, who nodded. Lily cleared her throat. Mommy reads me bedtime stories. Mr. Gray makes bear pancakes. I don't know this man. She pointed to Anthony. He feels loud. Silence. Anthony sank lower. Clark scribbled notes. Given the parties' positions, mediation seems unlikely to resolve. We'll proceed to Judge Harmon at 10. Monday 8 a.m. Courthouse Cafe. Thomas handed Caroline peppermint tea. She stared into the steam. I thought pneumonia was scary. That was nothing. Thomas squeezed her elbow. Truth stands taller than intimidation. She exhaled. Dominic funded his legal filing. Amelia traced the payment. Thomas's throat tightened. Then this isn't about fatherhood, it is tactical. Leverage, Caroline agreed. If Anthony wins even partial visitation, tabloids get salacious headlines. CEO bankrolls custody snatch. Thomas set his cup down. We fight facts with facts. Caroline looked away. What if facts aren't enough? The system isn't always kind to mothers without savings. Thomas reached into his folio, pulled a small velvet pouch. Inside, a gold locket shaped like a phoenix. Wear this, reminder of who you are. Her fingers trembled as he clasped it round her neck. Warmth spread from the metal to her spine. She whispered, no matter what they say, Lily is mine. He nodded, and I am yours, in every way that counts. Monday 10:06 a.m. Courtroom 3. Judge Harmon presiding. Wood paneling, flags, rows of pew-style benches. Reporters occupied the back despite the judge's glare. A single camera had been permitted for transparency. Feed delayed 10 minutes to curb sensationalism. Judge Harmon, silver hair in a bun, robe flowing like a warning, surveyed the room. These proceedings will remain civil. First witness Caroline Brooks. Amelia guided Caroline to the stand. Oath taken. Caroline sat, heart thudding. Amelia, state your occupation. Caroline, custodial technician at Madison Square Corporation and apprentice software developer. Amelia smiled. Describe your typical day with Lily. Caroline painted pictures, oatmeal mornings, walk to preschool, night shift stories whispered through cracked door frames. She spoke of dreams deferred, of pneumonia scare, of Lily's bus ride to save her job. Words quivered but did not break. Amelia presented school records. Lily's attendance perfect, grades exceptional. Pediatrician letter healthy, thriving. Amelia, have you discouraged Mr. Lange's involvement? Caroline, I emailed photos, updates, never a reply. She produced printed copies. Judge Harmon examined them, eyebrows knitting, noted. Cross-examination. Anthony clambered forward. Sans lawyer, it had been too expensive. He tried casual swagger but sweat betrayed him. Anthony, why didn't you call me when you got sick? Caroline met his gaze steadily. Because you disconnected your phone. Anthony stammered, I changed numbers. Amelia objected, relevance? Judge sustained. Anthony's face reddened. I am not perfect, okay. But no kid should grow up without a dad. Amelia rose, and no child should be uprooted by an absentee seeking leverage. Judge Harmon banged the gavel lightly. Enough. Next witness, Mr. Thomas Gray. Thomas took the stand. Cameras clicked. Tech blogs would devour the image. Billionaire on wood seat. Amelia, relationship to Lily? Thomas, close family friend. He glanced at Lily. She waved shyly. Amelia, financial or political pressure on Ms. Brooks to deny custody? Thomas, absolutely none. My only interest is Lily's well-being. Amelia, are you funding Ms. Brooks' legal defense? Thomas, didn't he flinch? Yes, as a loan, repayable if she chooses. Judge raised an eyebrow. Collateral? Thomas, her signature and my trust. A murmur rippled. Anthony jumped up. See, he is spying my kid. Judge Harmon, a gavel thundered. Sit or leave, Mr. Lang. Anthony sat. Amelia continued. Mr. Gray, describe Lily's behavior in your presence. Thomas spoke of curiosity, courage, of a map that reimagined a skyscraper's heart. Voice sanded with emotion. He concluded, she has changed how I measure success. Even the court reporter blinked back, moisture. Cross-examination. Anthony approached Thomas with mentis. You think money makes you a father? Thomas met his stare. Money builds structures, parenting builds people. Anthony spat, "Stay out of my bloodline." Thomas remained calm. "Blood is biology, love is choice." Judge Mr. Lang, "Final chance. One more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt." Anthony retreated, seething. Monday, 12:15 p.m. Courtroom recess, corridor outside 3. Reporters swarmed. Ms. Brooks comment. Amelia shielded Caroline. Thomas blocked lenses. Flashbulb strobed. Suddenly a camera toppled. Anthony had shoved a freelancer in frustration. Security whisked him away. Thomas whispered to Amelia, "That is breach of decorum." Amelia nodded. "We'll leverage it." Monday, 1:1 p.m. Courtroom 3. Testimony resumes. Judge Harmon re-entered stern. "Before we proceed, security footage shows Mr. Lang assaulting a photographer, misdemeanor battery. Bailiff serves citation, character under scrutiny." She turned to Amelia. "Further witnesses?" Amelia called Nurse Dana via video feed. Dana recounted Caroline's hospital ordeal. Lily's devotion, Thomas's support. "Family isn't just DNA. It is who shows up," she concluded. Judge Harmon asked Dana one question. "In your professional opinion, is Lily emotionally secure with her mother?" Dana: "Absolutely." Video feed ended. Amelia rested her case. Judge Harmon faced Anthony. "Any witnesses, evidence, or statements beyond personal assertion?" Anthony, his shoulders sagged. "No, Your Honor." Judge leaned back, hands steepled. Silence built natural height. Lily whispered to Mr. Sawdust, hugging him tight. Finally the gavel rose. "This court finds that Caroline Brooks has demonstrated consistent, competent, and loving primary care. Petition for joint custody is denied. Visitation rights will be considered after Mr. Lang completes a 6-month parenting course, provides proof of sustained employment, and satisfies outstanding child support arrears." Court adjourned. Gavel struck. Thunder for some, grace for others. Monday, 1:38 p.m. Courthouse steps. Reporters again. Amelia spoke first. "Justice favored stability today." Cameras pivoted to Thomas. He shook his head, no comment. "They tried Caroline," she smiled softly. Tears shining. "We were going home. That was headline enough." Anthony emerged with police escort, shouting, "I'll be back," before disappearing into a patrol car. Flashes popped, then he was gone. Monday, 2:12 p.m. Local playground victory picnic. They needed fresh air, not press conferences. Thomas fetched sandwiches. Caroline reclined on a bench. Lungs clear. Lily conquered the jungle gym wearing her pink hard hat. Caroline closed her eyes, sun-warming eyelids. A shadow settled beside her. Thomas offered a bottle of sparkling apple cider. To legal lions he toasted. She linked, sipped, and to men who fight beside them. He studied her profile. "How do you feel?" Like I exhaled. After 5 years, she shifted to face him. "You risk so much. If Dominic spins this, I am done living creatively." He interrupted. "Dominic plays whack-a-mole. We build gardens." She laughed. "A CEO turned horticulturist." He brushed her knuckles. "When you find what matters, scale shrinks." She slid closer. "You matter." He upped her cheek, thumb tracing locket. "Say that again." "You matter," she repeated, voice steady as sunrise. He kissed her unhurried, in daylight, where passersby might tweet. Cameras could spin narratives, but honesty needed no edit. Lily spotted them, squealed theatrical disgust, then sprinted over. Group hug battery. They wrapped arms around her, laughter braiding with relief. In that embrace, the courthouse gravity lifted. Second chances became present tense. Monday, 4:05 p.m. Madison Square Executive Suite. While they soaked in victory at the park, Dominic lurked behind Thomas's mahogany desk. Hacking fury into motion, he slipped a flash drive into the CEO's workstation. A command prompt flickered, copying personal email. "This." Dominic grinned. "Let us see how squeaky clean our hero is." Progress bar hit 100. He ejected the drive, wiped fingerprints with a monogrammed cloth, and left through a side corridor, unaware that Raja's silent alarm pinged on Thomas's phone. Monday, 5:10 p.m. Queen's apartment. Caroline and Lily built blanket forts while Thomas watched, phone buzzing. Raj texted, "Security breach. Golden T isolate intruder, face on cam angle obstructed, but credentials show Dominic is ID used at 16:7. Thomas typed, "Understood. Lock him out, escalate to legal." Raj done. Also I encrypted decoy files. He stole nothing. Thomas smiled. Gardens needed fences too. He tucked phone away and crawled into the blanket fort. Lily appointed him gate dragon. Caroline declared herself code wizard. For an hour they battled dust bunny horde, laughter rattling flimsy walls. Outside, sirens wailed distant, taxis honked, headlines churned, but inside cotton towers a family stitched armor from joy. Monday, 8:32 p.m. Dominic's penthouse. Dominic plugged the flash drive into his laptop, eager to mine scandal. Instead, files opened to a single looping video. Lilia's crayon nap animating into dancing mamas singing I am a little decoy short and stout. Below a watermark nice try cyberops. Dominic roared, sweeping glassware off the bar. Shards sparkled like defeated stars. A new email pinged from Legal Dept. Subject notice of policy violation, security footage attached. Dominic's face drained color as corporate counsel outlined disciplinary hearings, possible termination. He hurled the laptop shut, chest heaving. For the first time, the Ice King's enemy felt the chill of consequence. Monday, 10:11 p.m. Queen's rooftop. Night breeze tugged at laundry lines. Caroline and Thomas watched Lily chase fireflies with Mrs. Ortiz's grandkids. Caroline leaned into Thomas. Court is done, but battles remain. We'll fight them, he promised. She lifted the locket. Phoenixes rise from ashes. But what if new fires come? Then we fly higher. She took his hand, kissed the scar on his knuckle, a relic from dismantling conference tables in college. Higher, she echoed. Below, Lily's laughter spiraled skyward, tiny sparks in star-speckled dark. End of Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Building Dreams Together. Wednesday, 6:02 a.m. Madison Square Tower, 40th floor makerspace. The floor smelled of sawdust and freshly 3D-printed resin, a perfume Thomas never knew he loved until that morning. Under skylights newly installed for inspiration value, workbench burned with circuit boards, soldering irons, and half-assembled prototype casings. Whiteboards gleamed with algorithms scrawled in neon pink as demanded by one junior consultant named Lily. Caroline stood at the center, safety glasses fogging slightly, laptop balanced on an overturned toolbox. To her left, Make One calibrated a sensor array. To her right, Harold, now an unlikely champion of innovation, tested rugged tablet shells by dropping them onto a padded mat with childlike glee. Thomas entered carrying 4 cardboard drink trays. Fuel trucks have arrived. Lily, in miniature overalls and her trademark pink hard hat, bounced across the room. Caramel cocoa for me? Thomas bent, presenting a cup with a ladybug sticker. Extra marshmallows. Caroline accepted a chai without looking up, fingers dancing across keys. Raw data filled her screen, energy usage logs harvested overnight from 20 floors. A month earlier she'd cleaned these corridors, now they fed her algorithm. Watch this, she said. One keystroke, and a real-time heat map bloomed on the far wall's projector. Red blotches pulsed where lights and Hiva fought empty air, green zones where motion sensors already saved watts. Harold whistled. Never knew the 23rd floor was a volcano. Maya's eyes sparkled. If we reduce peak load by just 8%, that is $500,000 a quarter. Thomas sipped black coffee, then let us melt the volcano. Wednesday, 8:17 a.m. Executive Suite Strategy Huddle. Thomas, Caroline, May, and CFO Janice Lowell crowded over a circular table. Lily arranged crayons into a color gradient nearby, listening with espionage interest. Janice tapped a spreadsheet. Prototype savings look real, but board approval requires a pilot. How soon can you deploy? Caroline glanced at Thomas, then back. 2 weeks for an MDIF monitor, 3 floors. Adjust algorithms daily. Janice arched a brow, ambitious. Caroline held her gaze. 3 floors used to take me one night with a mop. Silence, then Janice smiled. Fair point, you have my vote. May high-fived Caroline. Lily added, Mommy's code will sparkle. Thomas scribbled action items. I'll handle CapEx sign-offs. You 3 run the trenches. Wednesday, 10:04 a.m. Tech Pit Level 23 Pilot Zone. Blue tape cordoned hallways like a crime scene of inefficiency. Maintenance crew swapped old fluorescents for smart leads while May's DevOps squad installed sensor clusters. Caroline crawled through ceiling tiles, laptop tethered to her belt with a neon extension cord Lily dubbed the umbilical wifey. She typed commands, heartbeat signing with blinking status lights, green, green. Amber error, she frowned. Sensor note 7 isn't pinging. May called up from below. Hardware dead? Maybe power drop. Caroline suited to the edge, legs dangling. Need a multimeter. Harold appeared, brandishing one. Didn't he spend 30 years lugging carts for nothing? Minutes later, they traced a frayed wire rats. Caroline patched with spare cable. Secured using Lilia's glitter tape sparkle solder, she insisted. Node 7 lit green. Cheers echoed. Lily shouted, first bug swished. Wednesday, 1:11 p.m. Cafeteria corner booth. Caroline devoured a chicken wrap like deadline fuel. Thomas pulled up graphs on his tablet. For once a human interest angle for tomorrow as press brief. Energy savings are numbers. Story is soul. Caroline dabbed her mouth. Tell them about Henry Night Guard with asthma. Cooler temps in mechanical rooms help him breathe. Thomas nodded. You should present. Her chewing slowed. Me? Tomorrow? He touched her wrist. They need to hear the heartbeat behind the code. Lily, nibbling rodents, chimed in. Mommy can do anything. She fixed my night light with duct tape and a wish. Caroline chuckled. That night light still flickers. Thomas' innovation is perpetual flicker. Wednesday, 3:26 p.m. Phoenix War Room repurposed janitor closet. The closet still smelled faintly of pine cleaner, but whiteboards covered every inch now. Lines linked stickies labeled power, comfort, cost, impact. Caroline pinned a final sticky people. She turned to the group. Numbers must serve narratives, otherwise savings vanish next quarter. A former custodian named Carlos raised a hand. Night crew uses extra lighting for safety. Will automation hurt visibility? Caroline smiled. Good catch. Adaptive brightness between 1 and 2A. Remains at 75%. Carlos relaxed. May mouthed nice. Thomas watched from the doorway, heart swelling. Leadership looked natural on her, like she'd worn it under the uniform all along, waiting for clearance to remove the disguise. Wednesday, 6:42 p.m. Queen's apartment kitchen. Home smelled of basil and victory. Caroline stirred pasta sauce while Lily practiced multiplication on the fridge-mounted tablet. Thomas chopped zucchini with unequal dexterity. Investor call at 8, he mentioned. Caroline tasted sauce, added salt. And you still here cooking? He shrugged, delegated. I'll dial in from the living room. She set the spoon down, turned arms flourished with Italian drama. Mr. Gray, you just surrendered control? Partial, he teased. Company 1 tea crumble. Trust me. She stepped closer, so scented warmth rising between them. I do, she kissed him. Gentle heat simmering like oregano. Lilia's voice broke in you. But carry on, I need homework help. They laughed, parted, and resumed tasks, domestic choreography in sync. Wednesday, 8:00 p.m. Investor Webb asked Thomas' living room office. Ring light on, bookshelf backdrop staged. 10 faces filled the screen. Pension fund managers, venture analysts, one skeptical journalist. Thomas opened slides. FaceCon Energy Pilot. He clicked. Caroline, streaming from the apartment's dining table, took over. Heart hammered, but voice steady. I spent 5 years cleaning the floors you invest in. Tonight I am here to clean the waste you can TC kilowatts. Graph lines dipped. She told Henry's asthma story. She showed Lilia's drawing of happy plants under gentle lights. Chat exploded, powerful, authentic. When she concluded, Thomas muted his mic and clapped where only Lily heard. Analyst Deborah Singh spoke. Ms. Brooks, your transition from janitor to engineer exemplifies human apidal mobility. Calmy impressed. Meeting ended with unanimous thumbs up for pilot expansion pending results. Thomas shut laptop. Exhaled. Caroline stepped in, cheeks flushed adrenaline. He lifted her hand. Kiss knuckles, you just raised our valuation. She laughed. I thought I raised the bar for bedtime stories. It is past 9. Lily shouted from bedroom. Plot twist, no story, data story. They obliged, recounting sensor victories until Lily drifted asleep mid-graph. Thursday, 12:07 a.m. Madison Square Data Center. No. Servers hummed like distant ocean. May, caffeinated beyond legal limits, watched dashboards. Suddenly alarm power spike on node 7. She cursed. Slack pinged Caroline. Anomaly. Caroline, half asleep on couch, thumbed code via phone. Reroute load. Run diagnostic. Graph stabilized. May breathed. Phoenix, urea nocturnal bird. Caroline texted Smiley and returned to Thomas's shoulder, not fully waking him. Outside, city lights pulsed a live wired whispering. Thursday 7:58 a.m. Boardroom B Daily Brief. Dominica's chair set empty. Her had suspended his credentials pending investigation. Janice chaired. Reports glowed green. Early sensor data indicated 5.2% energy drop in just 12 hours. Applause circled. Thomas acknowledged Caroline at his side. Some directors noticed their interlaced fingers and exchanged conspiratorial smiles. Romance now baked into the company lore. Thursday 11:33 a.m. Press Atrium Media Demo. Glass atrium packed with cameras, banners read Phoenix Initiative Sustainability Through Empathy. Lily tugged Caroline asleep. Stage fright? A little, Caroline admitted. Lily produced 2 glitter stickers, 1 phoenix, 1 bear pancake, stuck them over Caroline's heart. Armor. Thomas introduced her. She stepped up, spotlight washing over, heart raced. She imagined mopping past crowds. Old muscle memory. She inhaled. Good morning. 2 months ago, I wiped fingerprints from desks. Today, I fingerprint data for cleaner futures. Reporters leaned in. She demonstrated Live Node 7 glitch simulate system rerouted. Savings ticker updated. Applause erupted. Flashbulbs bathed her in strobe. CNN tech correspondent asked, "What is next?" Caroline glanced at Thomas, scaling to every floor, then sharing the model free to any building that commits to fair wage labor. Gasped, then cheers. Thomas mouthed, "Proud of you." Thursday 2:45 p.m. Hospital rooftop garden. They visited St. Vincent's to deliver first grant from the Restitution Fund solar panels for the children's wing. Nurse Dana hugged Lily. Dr. Patel thanked Caroline for coding sunlight. Thomas lingered near the violet planter, now blooming purple splashes. Caroline joined. They made it, she whispered. He plucked a single blossom tucked behind her ear. So did we. She blushed. Patients watched from windows, seeing not a CEO and janitor, but a man and woman watering hope. Thursday 5:18 p.m. Subway 7 train Flushing bound. They rode home shoulder to shoulder among commuters. A teenager recognized Thomas. Nudge friend, that's the glass walls guy, someone else whispered. And she asked the janitor coder. Phone snuck photos. Thomas prepared for intrusion, but applause rose instead. Ordinary riders clapped, brief, genuine. Caroline's eyes misted. She whispered, "This is bigger than us." He squeezed her hand. "Let it be." Thursday 7:02 p.m. Queens rooftop community hack night. String lights zipped overhead. Fold-out tables held laptops, extension cords, pizza boxes. May organized code clean, a program where kids learn Python in exchange for neighborhood trash pickup. Lily served as junior facilitator, demonstrating loops using hopscotch. Community parents thanked Caroline for opportunity. She deflected credit to May and Thomas, who grilled veggie skewers near the railing. A local councilman arrived. Proposed municipal pilot. Thomas raised an eyebrow, scaling beyond Madison Square sooner than planned. Caroline smiled. Momentum. Band practice from an adjacent rooftop wafted jazz riffs into the night. Someone shouted for a dance break. Thomas extended a hand. "May I?" Caroline laughed. "I lead." They waltzed between tables, awkward but joyful. Lily covered her eyes but peeked through fingers. May snapped photos. CEO, coder, city skyline, digital postcards of improbable love. Thursday 10:54 p.m. Thomas's penthouse terrace. Wine glasses on the ledge, shoes off, toes curling against teak. Caroline wore an oversized hoodie with the Phoenix logo. Thomas loosened cufflinks. "When tucking hair?" "Star count?" she asked. "Limited by light pollution," he answered. "Then imagine more." She leaned into him. "When I was 15, I wrote a future letter. I'll build software that saves energy because the planet is a house we all share." He kissed her temple. "You posted that memo to the universe?" It finally replied. She turned to face him. "I can't believe the path: pregnancy, abandonment, mops, pneumonia led here." "Detours or scenic routes," he whispered. She brushed hair from his brow. "What scenic route led you?" He swallowed. "Losing my fiancé taught me buildings aren't lifelines. People are." I froze until a little girl rewrote my GPS. Tears brimmed but didn't fall. She kissed him softly, taste of wine and starlight. He deepened the kiss, promise rather than question. When they parted, she rested her head on his chest. Heartbeat signed. He pulled a small box from pocket, not velvet, but birchwood placer etched with a phoenix. Her breath hitched. He opened it. Inside, 2 keys on a ring. "One for your apartment. One for mine. Separate nests, shared sky until we were ready for one nest." She traced the keys. Commitment switch, not rush. He nodded. Consent culture. She slipped the ring over her finger like jewelry. I am ready for wingspan decisions. When ruffled leaves, distant sirens faded. In that hush, they embedded dreams like code comments in future scripts. Friday, 4:03 a.m. Dominic's empty office. Security escorted Dominic out at midnight, but his absence still echoed. Raj entered, installed new biometric locks. He pinned a note on the cleared desk: culture over conquest. He glanced at the skyline lights dimmer thanks to Phoenix Pilot. He smiled, left lights auto-dimming behind him. Friday, 7:45 a.m. Madison Square lobby. A giant screen displayed life savings 8.4% and climbing. Employees gathered, cheering when digits ticked upward. Lily, late for school, dragged Thomas to show him. He lifted her so she could tap the glass. "That's mommy's math," she exclaimed. Caroline joined, holding 2 travel mugs and Lilia's glitter tape. Harold wheeled up a cart of cupcakes iced with tiny phonixes. Breakfast of champions. Janice launched a handbell. Attention, due to pilot success, a festival Friday. Confetti cannons popped. People laughed, danced before elevators. Thomas whispered to Caroline, "When is the last time lobby confetti flew?" "Never," she answered. "Now it is standard operating procedure." They kissed cheek to cheek. Cameras flashed again, but this time it felt like community rather than intrusion. Friday, 12 p.m. Central Park, Bethesda Terrace. Thomas surprised Caroline and Lily with a picnic interlude. A cellist busked under the arcade. Sunlight dappled through elm leaves. Thomas unfolded a blueprint: future Madison Square Annex designed as net zero energy, with on-site daycare and rooftop hydroponics. Caroline traced lines. A building that breathes like a living thing. He nodded. "I want you to co-lead the project." Her eyes widened. "Co-lead?" "Yes, with a design seat on the senior leadership team." He hesitated. "Vice President of Sustainable Systems." She gaped. "That's improbable." Lily squealed. "Sandwich forgotten. Mommy VP." Caroline laughed, tears shining. "I accept on condition we install nap pods for single parents." Thomas extended hand. "Deal." They shook formal, then hugged family. Friday, 6:59 p.m. Innovation Hub Sunset Reflection. Day's golden light poured through glass walls. Teams cleared pizza boxes. Metrics dashboards glowed celebratory green. Caroline stood alone momentarily, absorbing hum of ambition turning humane. Thomas approached, slipping an arm around her waist. "Penny for thoughts." She sighed contentedly. "I used to clean windows to reveal views for others. Today I am standing on the other side, shaping the view itself." He rested forehead against hers. "And I can imagine the view without you." From across the room, Lily waved. Camera raised. "Hold still. Memory capture. Flash future frozen." Friday, 9:18 p.m. Queen's apartment, quiet afterglow. Lily slept, hugged by Mr. Sawdust. Caroline and Thomas lounged on the couch, heads touching, T-vision muted, showing cityscape stitched with Phoenix sensor points, real-time art. Caroline murmured, eyes half closed, "We built something beyond algorithms." Thomas kissed her hair. "We built a way to see each other." She whispered, "Tomorrow the algorithm expands. Someday Lily will steer rockets." He smiled against her forehead. "And we'll cheer, mapping bare pancakes into orbit." They drifted toward sleep, evening breeze teasing curtains aside. Outside, buildings inhaled, exhaled, lights dimming just enough, as though the city itself found a calmer heartbeat. Dreams collected in their shared quiet blueprints, bedtime stories, confetti mornings, violet blooms, all coalescing into one silently spoken vow: whatever they built next, they would build together. End of Chapter 7. Chapter 8, Springtime Boughs. Sunday, 7:18 a.m. Central Park Conservatory Garden, Upper East Side. Cherry blossoms floated like pink confetti over winding paths as dawn mist curled above trimmed hedges. The city, usually a brass band of hustle, whispered this morning. Robins hopped among tulips, unaware that in a secluded circle of flowering rep apple trees, 3 lives were about to pivot from possibility to promise. Thomas Gray adjusted the collar of an indigo sport coat, no tie, just a pocket square the color of sunrise. He paced a stone footbridge, practicing words he de-rehearsed 100 times yet still feared bothing. In his jacket pocket waited a velvet ring box containing a simple gold band set with a single sapphire Carolina's birthstone. Next to it lay Lilia's drawing Mommy Mr. Grammy family, hearts orbiting like satellites. The crayon masterpiece served as both courage and blueprint. Footsteps crunched on gravel. Thomas turned. Caroline approached, arm in arm with Lily. Spring sunlight kissed Carolina's curls, now free of janitoress cap and hospital tangles, cascading over a sky-blue wrap dress. Around her neck glinted the phoenix locket. Lily, in a white sundress and pink hard hat festooned with silk flowers, carried a wicker picnic basket that bounced against her knees. "Sorry we late," Caroline huffed, cheeks rosy. "Someone insisted on packing every flavor of jam." "It is important," Lily defended. "If this is best day ever, we need options." Thomas's nerves melted. Best day ever permits jam redundancy. He offered an exaggerated bow. Lily giggled and curtsied, nearly losing her helmet. They spread a quilt beneath an arching magnolia whose petals carpeted the grass. A thermos hissed as Caroline poured fresh coffee steam mingled with floral perfume. For minutes they spoke of small things: sensor deployment on the 15th floor, Lily's impending field trip to the planetarium, Harold's surprise karaoke skills at Friday's confetti party. Conversation wove around Thomas's thumping heart until he felt the moment arrive like a tide he could no longer resist. He cleared his throat. "I asked you both here because spring marks new starts, and I have a question that's bloomed all winter." Carolina's smile faltered gentle confusion. Lily leaned forward, antennae of curiosity twitching. Thomas knelt on one knee. Tiny gasps from distant joggers drifted through the garden, but he heard only Carolina's quick inhale and his own pulse in his ears. "Caroline Elizabeth Brooks, you rewired my world, taught the Ice King to thaw, taught a skyscraper to breathe. You've shown me that greatness isn't measured in net worth, but in nightly bedtime stories and daybreak courage. I love you fiercely, fearlessly, completely. Will you marry me and let me spend every tomorrow proving it?" He opened the box. The sapphire caught sunlight, scattering blue fire. Carolina's eyes brimmed. Her hand fluttered to her throat, fingers touching the locket. Speech snagged behind tears. She nodded twice, then finally found her voice a soft, trembling yes. Lily shrieked, springing up so fast her helmet slipped over her eyes. She shoved it back, arms windmilling. "Did she say yes?" "She said yes." Thomas slid the ring onto Carolina's finger, where it settled like it had always belonged. He stood. She rose into his embrace, laughter and tears mingling. Over her shoulder he saw Lily performing cartwheels among petals, singing "We Re a Family." We Re a Family to no particular tune. Sunday, 9:42 a.m. The Boathouse Cafe, Reservoir Edge. The trio celebrated with cinnamon sugar crepes and raspberry smoothies. Patrons at neighboring tables whispered, recognizing Thomas, but left them peace. Caroline turned the ring under morning light. "It is perfect," she said, eyes shimmering. "Because you are," Thomas replied, cheesy but true. Lily reached across the table, small hand covering both of theirs. "Does this mean I change my last name, or do you change yours? Or do we mash them up, Greybrook?" Caroline laughed. "Names are negotiable, kiddo." Thomas winked. "What matters is we share one mailing address for Santa." Lily approved, "as long as he can find the chimney." Monday, 8:15 a.m. Madison Square Tower glass wall atrium. Monday's buzz amplified the engagement news long before the couple arrived. Her screensavers rotated a digital postcard. "Congratulations, Caroline Thomas, proof love optimizes everything." Cupcake carts reappeared, this time topped with miniature sapphire sprinkles. May flagged them down at the turnstiles, brandishing a tablet showing Phoenix savings at 11.9%. "You two get engaged and our keys skyrocket. One more milestone and we re-carbon neutral." Caroline blushed. "Do I log that under productivity?" Thomas teased. "Allocate to the heartbeat column." Janice appeared, clutching a bouquet of violet tulips. "Board signed off on our next blueprint. VP Sustainable Systems office will overlook the East River. Welcome upstairs. Sorry, soon to be Mrs. Gray." Caroline accepted the flowers. "Most call me Caroline. The janitor part still counts." Thomas leaned close. "Janitor to VP in a semester. Our apprenticeship program now has a me-drop case study." Harold wheeled past, pushing a cleaning cart festooned with just engaged streamers and tin cans clattering dramatically. He winked. "Recycling boss, sparkle tape courtesy of Lily." Laughter rippled through the atrium. Monday, 12:07 p.m. Executive Suite Design Lab Corner. A planning meeting convened. May, Janice, Harold, Carlos, two structural engineers, and unexpected guest nurse Dana, representing Health Advoy Consulting, on the smart wall. Schematic layers peeled back to reveal rooftop gardens, solar arrays and nap pod clusters. Carlos pointed at a mezzanine walkway. Add wheelchair turn radius for night shift custodians with injuries.